Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free and join us on the radio waves where you can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up anything that you want to discuss. With you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian.
And Conan.
Of course, you can bring up whatever's on your mind. That is the point of the program. But we always bring stuff to the table that you might find interesting and worthy of discussion. One of them that we're going to start out with here is from Free Range Kids, and then coming up, the latest from Venezuela. It's been a few weeks since we've talked about what's going on out there, and there's a rogue cop who has apparently been dropping grenades from a stolen helicopter onto government buildings while, like, making videos and teaming up with a supermodel. So it's gotten really interesting out there. So that update is on the way here tonight. But first, from Rochester, New York, and freerangekids.com, one of the best, most interesting blogs, I think, on the internet. We've had Lenore Skenazy on the show with us. Actually, she was at, I think, the Porcupine Freedom Festival a few years ago where we were broadcasting live. Really, interesting mom. I don't know how familiar with her you are, Conan. She was dubbed the world's worst mother.
Oh, really?
Years ago.
Who gave her that title?
It was either the internet or some TV show. I forget which, but
because she allowed her kids to
walk home, or take a bus home or something. She
get dirty. Yeah. Actually go out and
She had like a 10-year-old son in New York City, and she let him walk home from school.
Unbelievable.
That's what just riled up all kinds of people, and they thought that was such a terrible thing. So she started a blog called Free Range Kids, where she advocates that at a certain point, when both the child and the parents are ready, that the child should be allowed to, experience greater responsibilities, like taking care of themselves to get home from school, or to go out to the park alone and not get arrested, or not have the parents get arrested.
Now, did they throw the law at her, or was that just public outrage?
I don't recall. It's been a while since.
Because this lady we're going to be talking about in the Lego story,
they came after
her.
So what happened? Well, an upstate New York mom has been arrested, according to Ms. Skenazy, for an unspeakable crime. She allowed her 10-year-old child to shop alone at the Lego store in the local mall while she shopped in a different store. The horror, she writes.
Absolutely. I hear these stories, and I just look back at when I was a kid.
Yeah. You never wanted to go to the same store as your mom. I mean, every time I was in the mall, I was in the electronics store. I was in the video game store. They called it Babbage's back in the day.
When I went to, so we lived out in the woods. So when we went to town, it was,
a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
I would take my bicycle with me so that they would go shopping, and I would actually bike around Gainesville, Florida, which is a population 100,000 city. It's a big city.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that big. I visited there once, and it didn't seem that big.
And now we're here.
Does 100,000 include the college students?
Probably not.
Okay.
But again, we thought that the population, the college population here in Keene was separate, but it is in fact included. So it's not as big as we've been saying that it is. 23,000 here in Keene.
So you'd bring your bike around and just kind of go and
I'd go hit all my stores. I'd go to the
comic books,
the gamer store, which had all the comic books, and the of course what do they call that? Yeah, it's a game store.
Yeah, sure.
But not as in video games, but as books and comics
Gamer Geeks.
and Gamer Geek stuff. And then I would hit the video store,
or whatever.
And then eventually, a couple hours later, well, no, I would have to go find them.
Go back to them. Okay.
And this is before cell phones too. Right. and so your only option is a payphone. Of course, they'd have to be on the other end of a payphone. So if you get lost, oh man,
did it
lost.
Ever happen?
I don't probably. Or I probably had to sit in a parking lot for
So you had like a rendezvous. You had a rendezvous point. All right, well, correct. Mom, I'll be back at this parking lot by somewhere between this time and this time.
And it was only 30 miles home. Mm-hmm. So I mean, if all else failed, you just bike on home.
Well, and now is the land hilly at all up in Gainesville? Because South Florida is all flat.
There are a few hills.
Okay.
But most of it, 90% is nice and flat, so no big whoop.
According to Rochester station WHEC, the Ontario County Sheriff's Office says a Pittsford mother is accused of leaving her 10-year-old child alone in the Lego store at Eastview Mall while she shopped. Deputies say 44-year-old Gia Fan was arrested at about 5:37 p.m. Sunday evening. She has been charged with endangering the welfare of a child. Yes, writes Skenazy, that poor, endangered kid surrounded by small pieces of plastic. Alert readers may recall that in 2011, a mother in Long Island, New York, was arrested for leaving her 7-year-old at the Roosevelt Field Mall Lego store for 1 hour and 20 minutes while she shopped elsewhere in the mall. And in 2015, a Lego store in Canada detained an 11-year-old for being, quote, too young, unquote, to shop alone. That child's father, Doug Dunlop, wrote a letter to the company. And I'll share that letter coming up here in a moment. But I had the, I guess, the good fortune to be in one of these Lego stores. I'd never seen this before. When again, Conan, when we were growing up, this did not exist.
Right, there'd be maybe one row at the game store or something, and that was about as big as you got.
Yep, or you could go to a department store like a Walmart or Kmart, and there's usually a decent selection of Legos there, but never anything that was all Lego. And I don't know when they opened the first Lego store, but I suspect it was within the last couple of decades. And now they're pretty prolific, as I understand it. I still I'm not on the lookout for them, so I probably don't notice them, and they're certainly not around here in the Keene, New Hampshire area where we live. But Mark and I went down to this Disney World. There was like a Bitcoin convention called Coins in the Kingdom that was happening at Disney World, and they have a Lego store like in the Disney World kind of zone or whatever, the park. And so we had a chance to go in there, and like, what a great place to leave a kid while you go into the clothing store, right? Like, mom, she's going to go into JCPenney or some boring clothing store like that. It's still boring to go to JCPenney. I'm 30, my late 30s, and I still don't want to go into that store. It's so dull. But, I can't blame any kid for wanting to go to that Lego store. They got, like, free Legos. You don't take them home with you, but you can just build stuff. So they've got, like, areas where, kids can just stand there and, like, put stuff together and play with it for a little bit. And then, of course, there's the incredibly expensive Lego sets that no child could possibly afford.
I had so many Legos.
Yeah.
But I never once bought a set.
Really? You just get them at garage sales or whatever?
Well, I would get them for Christmas.
Ah, okay.
And then, of course, I would get them at garage sales. I would get the big buckets of multicolor
right, where
pieces.
People just dumped all their pieces.
And here I am trying to specialize in, like, black and white spaceships, and all I have is red and yellow, and so my spaceships would look checkered. I made some pretty awesome structures, but
you had fun. You had fun.
Legos is just one of those things that the kids just don't. It's one of the things that's missing these days.
What do you mean missing?
The concept, the putting together, the building, the construction.
They're still there. Lego's still there.
But they stick within the parameters. They've got the see, back in the day you had squares, and now you have all these specialized pieces that can really only be used for your pirate ship or for your spaceship. Back in the day, if you wanted to make a cone shape, you would actually have to be creative. You would have to be creative.
Huh. Okay.
And of course, you've got some of these guys on. There are Lego artists,
the pros
who are building huge constructs from Legos, and those are
impressive.
Those are impressive and expensive.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And by the way,
they've got theme parks.
I don't keep Legos anymore because they go very well on eBay.
Oh yeah, I bet they do.
Buckets of any color pieces you have go very well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I remember when I was a kid and was getting toward the end of my Lego career. It was just getting so expensive because my parents raised me right to where I had to like save my own money and buy my own Legos.
Your own video games, your own Legos. Yeah, right.
Legos were brutally expensive, and they still are.
Oh yeah, they've only gone up.
Right. And I remember once finding a big bucket, like you describe, of Legos at somebody's garage sale for $2, and it was like scoring the mother load, dude, because I was old enough at that time that, like, I think eBay exists. I guess I wasn't a kid, but teenager or whatever. And I like took the time to separate out all of the Legos that were in this bucket by color and put them in big Ziploc bags. I sold those things for at least $100. It was pretty sweet. I felt very accomplished. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. So so again, this is not the first time that a parent has been arrested in New York. I guess there's one in Canada as well, and this dad wrote a letter to the Lego store. I'll share that with you coming up. We'll tell you more about what happened this week with the latest mom to be arrested, and you can share your thoughts. Do you think parents should be arrested for leaving their kids in a store in the mall?
So when we brought him home, we didn't realize that the rescue dog was actually sick. He had very flaky skin. He was dropping a lot of fur. The vet wanted to do steroid injections, special dog food. Nothing seemed to work. So I've been hearing Dinovite on the radio for years.
Petey stopped eating. All his hair fell out.
Itching, licking, missing fur.
DINOVITE.com. 859-428-1000.
And then it finally sunk in. Oh, you're talking about hair and skin. And all right, I'll try it. Well, it took probably 6 weeks, but after we started using Dinovite, no more flaky skin. He doesn't scratch and itch, and he started to put weight on. It was awesome.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Every rescue dog in America deserves Dinovite for 90 days. I wish that we would have started the Dinovite right away. It would have been so much easier.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll-free here. Bring up whatever you want. You can take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We've also got Skype, so you can Skype on in and join us here at Skype username LRN.FM. It's Ian and Conan in the studio with you tonight. And, of course, you can bring up whatever you want. We're going to continue with more about, from the Free Range Kids blog, what's going on with parents being arrested for leaving their kids at the Lego store. It's not just one parent, but more than one. And we'll continue with that story. Also, I want to let you know about Simbi.com. It's a slick and easy-to-use marketplace where you can trade your talents for other people's services and abilities. You can forget the old economy. This is your economy at Simbi.com. You won't believe the diversity of services available right now on Simbi.com. Hundreds of thousands of people are acting within the symbiotic economy. Go get your account right now for free at Simbi.com, Simbi.com, and take a look around, and you can post your services. Simbi.com. Let's go to Cody in Texas. Cody, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Conan.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call.
Sure, Cody, go ahead.
I think it's pretty ridiculous that people keep getting arrested for this. You know, I'm only 38, but when I was a kid and we went to the mall, there was an arcade. And that's kind of the thing where, you know, once you tried on your school clothes or got your shoes or whatever, you got $10 and it was go to the arcade, and that's where you hung out while your parents were shopping.
Great point, man.
You know, like my folks would say, you're either at the arcade or the food court, or you could go look at the toy store. But there was never any sort of issue with, you know, it didn't seem like it, at least, with people getting in trouble for that.
Never.
That was just kind of like
Never. I mean, I remember being a little kid hanging out in arcades.
I don't understand what the big deal is.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I'd be way more afraid of somebody calling the cops on us, you know, versus my kid getting kidnapped or something.
Yeah, I thank you for reminding me about the arcade, because there's such an anachronism, the few that remain today. But those were definitely. Oh, I guess something went wrong there. I'm not sure if he meant to hang up there. Might have been a bad sell, but he makes a great point. The arcades of yesteryear. I mean, you barely ever see these things anymore. Every now and then, I mean, I've seen them a couple of times as an adult in my life in the last, let's say, 20 or so years, Conan. I remember one of them, I was in Texas visiting some people, and there was I think it was Texas. I was somewhere, it wasn't here, and it was like an adult arcade. They had like a DJ booth, and they had like very expensive arcade games. Not just they didn't have
like the dance ones,
that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then like the ones with like the guns that you'd shoot, and they had humongous screens, and they even had like some sort of thing that was more like a ride at a theme park than something you would see that you would think should be in an arcade. So it was like a very expensive thing where like the cheapest arcade game in there was like $1 or 50 cents or so. So you couldn't just go and plop a quarter into a Galaga game. They didn't have any old games. It was all brand new, high-end video games.
And question, was it occupied?
Quite. There were a lot of people in there. It was basically like the equivalent of I wouldn't say it was a nightclub, but that's kind of seemed like what they were going for. Like, it wasn't dark like a nightclub would be, but it was all adults basically, and there was alcohol being served, so there was a full bar that they had, and they were clearly, you know, marketing to the Generation X kind of millennial.
Well, when you consider the average age gamer, it's like 31, 32, 33.
Is that average right now?
It's the average age.
I wonder what the median age is, because I suspect the median age, I don't know.
Now, I for some time have only been seeing like a arcade, like in a dusty corner, and it's never being used.
Where?
That's just
you mean
the thing.
A machine?
Just a machine, not even
like at a restaurant or something.
Exactly. Now, I actually was shocked just a couple of days ago. I went to Amherst,
Massachusetts.
No, up north of us. Anyways,
okay.
The Walmart there. It actually had a whole cubicle set up. It had like 5 systems, and like you said, they were all top-notch systems. You know, $1 a play each.
Right.
And it was empty. The whole place was empty. And this was during rush hour. So I don't know I don't know when their peak hour is.
Well, there is one arcade that I remember going to within the last decade, and that's Fun Spot, which is out in Laconia, I think it is, out in this the Lakes region of New Hampshire.
Very touristy
have you
area.
Been?
I've driven through there. It's very pretty. It reminds me.
You've got to go.
It reminds me of Tampa and St. Petersburg. All the little islands, and Laconia is like a road through a bunch of lakes.
It is. That much is true.
And all you see is docked boats. It's very beautiful. It's very wet.
Fun Spot's great. It is, it's like an arcade museum that you can play, right? Because most museums you can't touch, right? This one, they've got old games. I mean, we're talking about like an original Pong game. I mean, it really goes back. So they've got the originals of these games, and they're keeping them in good operating condition. Like, they got to repair these things from time to time, and it's probably not, cheap. But if you know your stuff, if you know your electronics and how to repair electronics, you can probably save some money on it. But it's amazing.
This guy, they're probably being outfitted by an individual here in Keene who actually refurbishes machines. Except he doesn't just load the game, the original game on. He'll load an assortment. He'll load a whole variety of games on, a variety pack, and but it's all originals. Pong, Mortal Kombat. So you got Atari games, and you have decades later.
So
games.
You're talking about the emulator. You're talking about he's making emulator machines because there's no other real way to do that. He's putting a computer in there. He's hooking up the joypads on the arcade machine.
He's hooking up new hardware in an old case. In
an old cabinet. Yeah, for sure. Those are really cool because then you can have like a zillion games in one box, and that's definitely the way.
And when you consider how much space these big things take up, I can only imagine. I don't even know if my young millennial daughter has
ever been
to an arcade or knows what they're like.
That's sad. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. You can share, if you want, arcade experiences. We'll get back into leaving the kid at the Lego store. Mom got arrested for that. Jeff is in Southern California. Hello, Jeff. Hello. Jeff. You know what? We might be having some technical difficulty back there.
Am I on?
Yeah, we hear you. Can you hear us? Sounding like he can't hear us. So I want to put Jeff back on hold. We may have some sort of technical difficulty because I think that's what our last caller was like, huh? Are you there? And then he disconnected. So maybe there's something going on with the board over there at the network. So we'll check back with Jeff, and hopefully he can hear us while he's on hold and accept our apologies. So, yeah, I mean, your daughter's, about 20 now or something like that?
I'm pretty sure. I think she just turned 20.
It would be interesting to take her to an arcade and see what her response would be to
I think we would just look and we wouldn't buy anything. Putting money in, I mean, I have so many games at my disposal, and I don't have to pay 50 cents a pop.
I never did as a kid. I
have an Atari at home right now. I have Atari 2600.
Really?
I had a stack of games.
But I remember when I went to arcades as a kid, I never had any money. So, or if I did, I didn't want to spend it on the arcade.
I went with my rich friends.
Nice.
And watched.
So they didn't.
Well, I would watch, and I would get like one game out of half a dozen.
I would just watch people play for the most part. Every now and then I'd play something. But so I did when I finally went to Fun Spot. I really splurged. I spent $20 between me and my girlfriend at the time, and it lasted us for hours. So like just the $20 was at least 2 hours of solid like gameplay between two people. More than you could possibly want to play. And then they, of course, have like, kind of the other kinds of games that you would see in an arcade, but they weren't video games.
Like the ball toss?
Or skee ball.
Ski ball, that's what's
stuff.
Called.
Yeah, they got all that stuff there. It's a pretty cool little hangout. It's pretty unique for I think probably most of New England, if not the whole country, just because of the selection of old games that they've got. 855-450 Free Talk Live.
Is that Ellen painting her garage?
Yesterday she was trimming her hedges.
What's her secret?
I heard she was eating this new super berry called the aronia berry.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness.
Where can we get them?
Go to superberries.com/radio. And right now we get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus we can save $4 at checkout.
I can't wait. I've got lots of projects I need to get done.
Yes, you do.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agrishosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agris Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agrishosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agrishosting.com.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Talk Live. Dial toll free and join us on the radio waves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. It's Ian and Conan in the studio here tonight. Do want to let you know about Bitcoin.com. Great website to go to learn the basics about Bitcoin. They have their own wallet now, by the way, so there's a Windows version and several other versions, phone versions, of course, at Bitcoin.com. So if you want to get a Bitcoin wallet, they can hook you up directly or recommend a bunch of others over at Bitcoin.com. If you're brand new to Bitcoin or if you're old school, you're going to find useful information there. At Bitcoin.com, they got the latest news headlines about what's happening in the cryptocurrency world. Also, you can play games with your Bitcoin, and they've got a forum. You can go to forum.bitcoin.com. It is not censored, unlike some of those other Bitcoin forums out there. So go and get interactive and connect with other Bitcoiners and learn more at bitcoin.com. We're going to try the phones again here. I'm told by the board op that it is now working, and maybe Jeff can hear us this time. Jeff, are you with us?
Yep, I'm with you. I can hear you all
yes,
right.
good. We have you now. Go ahead. You're calling from California.
All right. Well, I know it's a bit off topic. I heard you guys talking about arcade machines and such, but I was wondering if I could talk about some of the riots going on in Germany.
Yeah, of course. It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want.
Lots of violence, lots of fire. I did see that there was a protest, a peaceful protest, where they did like an art show where they were wearing gray colors covered in clay. And I realized that a lot of these people, they don't really believe in the JQ.
The JQ?
Which is the idea that Jews control the whole media. I'm sorry, Dad.
Huh?
Sorry, Dad.
You're sorry, Dad. Okay. So I guess that was a troll call. I'm not real clear on what that was. But anyway, yeah, there's some riots over in Germany.
There are always G20 summit riots.
Right, wherever they hold the G20.
The big ones were in Canada a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This
let me guess, it's the anarchists who are destroying property. And I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the stories.
This would be something that I would want to protest if I, would get off my butt and actually go out to one of these events. But
is it really worth it, though?
Well,
Why?
I mean, when you think about what's actually taking place, you've got the big bankers, the big establishment, actually going around and having these meetings and discussing how they're going to spend our money. And that's something that I'm against.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that I would want to be caught with these people who are the supposed anarchists. Who they have, in one good aspect, they hate the wars that are going on, according to what they, their talk and their what they put out in their pamphlets and whatnot. So they're against the war. That's good, but they're also anti-capitalists. So I mean, they don't really. These are the Bernie boys for sure, and they see that there is a problem, but they have incorrectly identified that problem, and I think they're going after the right people, but their message is wrong.
But half the time, not only is their message not what we would necessarily,
and they're being violent about it.
Right.
You start fires and garbage cans. You've already shot your argument.
You throw a garbage can through a Starbucks store window or something like that, or some other private property.
I don't know that they would go that far with Starbucks. Maybe a shoe store or something. But Starbucks is one of their places, right?
No, it's an evil corporation.
But that's where they get their. Where would they get their?
No self-respecting, lefty is going to go. No self-respecting anarchist in the streets should be caught dead at a Starbucks. I'm sure there's plenty of hypocrites that would, but they shouldn't go into a Starbucks. But it doesn't look good. I'm specifically remembering one of these incidents where a Starbucks window was smashed. And it was probably smashed on purpose. And these people are known for destroying private property and targeting business owners rather than the government. Look, if you want to go smash the police department's window in, you won't hear me say that that's a bad thing.
If you want to get in your helicopter and drop bombs and mortars on top of the city council building and the police and the fire department, well, maybe not the fire department, but the police department. Go right ahead.
I don't support violence. I'd like to point that out, but I don't feel bad when property that is the government's, because technically it should belong to all of us. When that property gets destroyed, I don't feel bad about that. When the occupiers, remember Occupy Wall Street and the other Occupies from like 6 years ago now? When Oakland Occupy, which was one of the more, I guess, extreme Occupies, went into the city hall, they destroyed that place. And they, okay, you've destroyed City Hall. You finally have targeted, some of the people who are actually causing the problems that you deem to be an issue.
Except they left or were arrested and it was over, and then they had to rebuild with taxpayer money, and they probably built it up twice as strong and twice as big, which is what they do.
Yep, that's true.
So, I mean,
is it counterproductive?
I'm all about just letting it collapse on its own. It's going to collapse soon.
How soon though, Conan? I mean, they've been saying
it's all about the pensions. It's going to be government pensions first. And
what did I hear about Illinois? They are in a bad way today. I heard on the morning news that Illinois is going to have to raise their income tax again. It wasn't but a few years ago or several years ago where they increased their income tax by 25 or 33%. Well, now they're saying they're going to have to do it another 33%.
Not surprised.
To the state. Now, the state income tax is something like 1.5% or whatever, or some smallish number, but increasing that by 33% still going to hurt a lot of people.
And it's not going to be these young millennial anti-capitalist Antifas that I'm really concerned with. The people who are going to be burning the buildings down, it's going to be the teachers, it's going to be the police officers, it's going to be the fire department.
You think they're going to burn their own buildings down?
They're going to burn their own damn buildings down.
Why would they do that?
Because they're not going to get paid. And they're going to be like, well, you see what we can do.
Some of them are going to want to go back to work.
If they look far enough into the future and see that that's not an option any longer.
The toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. Let's talk to Eric. He's in Delray Beach, Florida. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Conan.
Hi, guys. Good evening. I'd like to react to that crank guy that just called you.
Uh-huh.
The JQ guy.
Yeah.
Okay, the JQ, you're not aware what that is, right?
No, and in fact, I've already forgotten. Jewish something or other?
Okay, good. Yeah, exactly. Jewish question. So just as you see Antifa aim super low and destroy a trash can, you've got these trolls all over, and they've infested libertarian circles. And yesterday we saw a particularly vile display of that when a certain individual, I'll not name, but a famous alt-right, Pinochet guy or whatever, affiliated with some new upstart site.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Say that again.
You said something about affiliated with a site, and then kind of it trailed off to silence.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's a gentleman who writes for. I'm trying not to get specific because I don't want to,
You don't want to promote him. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. He made this number. He's been doing the parentheses thing, the echoes of the Jews, which are,
I don't know what that means. The parentheses. What does that mean?
It's they use 3 parentheses before and after people's names that are Jewish or have Jewish names or somehow affiliated.
Is this
with
some
Judaism.
sort of alt-right thing to identify who's Jewish by putting parentheses around their names?
Nazi.
Like a secret
Nazi.
Star of David they assign to a name?
Correct. And this guy has been elevated to the level where he's got thousands of followers. And he said, he's been doing this, he actually did it to me. And I'm not Jewish, but I have a Swedish name that sounds Jewish.
Okay.
And, he's just like, whatever. So anyways, he makes this statement that a big tent libertarianism put the L parentheses on each side, the 3 parentheses, in libertarianism. He's just like, anything that goes wrong is the Jews did it.
It's
Jews
pathetic.
Are
I mean, it's just
of the libertarian movement and being libertarian or whatever.
He's saying the Jews are in control of the libertarian movement. Is that what he said?
Apparently, I guess Rothbard's in heaven.
There is nothing these people can't do, apparently. Hey, Eric, thanks for sharing tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. This is Free Talk Live. We'll continue.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try. Dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org.
I've discovered the next big thing on the internet. Symbi.com is a symbiotic economy with its own currency where people trade services virtually and locally. Forget the old economy. This is your economy. Symbi.com is slick to use and is backed by the same people that helped launch Reddit and Airbnb. I'm not kidding when I say this is the next big thing. Trust me. Go get an account at Symbi.com. Take a look around and post your services. Symbi, SIMBI.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
You're right. I did. We get 30 days free.
And membership is only $9.95.
Yep. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
My fellow sheep, election season is upon us. Are you one of the 12% of Americans who still approves of our government? Then we need your help to force the other 88% into compliance. Our democracy depends on it. We're an organization called Citizens Against Too Much Unfettered Freedom, or CATMUF. Catmuff is a bipartisan flock of sheep whose goal is expanding government until nothing else remains. Because the government is here to help you. How can you help Catmuff help you? By only voting for candidates dedicated to expanding government. It's easy. You don't need to study the issues. No matter what a politician says when running for office, they're all dedicated to expanding government. And make sure you tell all your friends and family to vote for more government. Here at Catmuff, we don't care if you vote Democrat or Republican, as long as you vote for candidates committed to growing our federal family. Catmuff, because folks just aren't smart enough to handle real freedom.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You may dial in toll-free and join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. It's Ian and Conan in the studio here tonight. And of course, you can bring up anything that you want. We haven't even gotten back into the story that we started the show with, which was about a mom who was arrested in the Rochester, New York area for the dastardly crime of letting her 10-year-old son hang out in the Lego store while mom went to do some other shopping in the mall. Basically the exact same scenario that every single child of the 80s and 90s has probably experienced more than once in his or her life. Apparently that is now illegal in some places. We'll get back into that story, but ended up getting callers on calling about the situation in Germany, where apparently the G20 meeting is happening again, and of course, as tends to happen during these G meetings, they end up having riots and protests and violence outside. That led to another call about the alt-righters, who are so you've got the Antifas, who are the lefty violent types, and then you've got the alt-righters, who are also sort of the right-wing equivalent, if you will.
Has there been any instances where alt-right has actually done damage, or do they just talk? They
talk about it.
They're big trolls.
Antifa
has actually gone out and flipped things over and set fires. Alt-righters, but
the alt-righters have been attacked by the Antifa people.
But alt-righters have guns.
They do. That's true.
So who would you be more fearful of because we're right in the middle of these knuckleheads as far as the rebels are concerned. I mean, we're a type of rebel. But you got the extremists on either side of us.
We're peaceful, though.
Exactly. I don't want any damage done to anybody, in anyone's property or their persons.
I don't hate people. I'm not against any kind of person. There was somebody calling about the Jewish question, whatever that is, which you were doing some research a moment ago, Conan. Apparently, it's the question that the alt-righters ask themselves about what they should do about Jewish people.
Well, it's not the alt-righters. Now because they're the only ones around actually asking the question. But the question has been asked for a good long time, for centuries.
Centuries? Okay.
And the question is, what do you do with these capitalist Jews who control everything?
Which is ridiculous.
And it was Russia was asking it, Germany was asking it, Great Britain.
The idea
and then you have the alt-righters in this present day who are.
There's plenty of Jewish people who don't control anything.
Who need a scapegoat.
Right. There's plenty of Jewish people who don't control anything. They just control their own lives. They're not running banks. They're not, ultra wealthy. So for people to just rope every Jewish person into some sort of conspiracy is ridiculous on its face. But beyond that, Jewish people aren't in control of everything. We had libertarian banker in the studio with us about a week ago, and he said that he has worked in banking for more than a decade, and all of the executives and bank owners and people that he knows are all Christians. They're all white Christian males. So it's just absolutely absurd. But
those are the ones that we see, Ian.
Right, they're being controlled.
Correct.
Right?
We don't see the real puppet masters.
It's just such paranoia and such conspiracy, claptrap as far as I'm concerned. Are there some Jewish bankers? Yes, of course. There are all kinds of people who are bankers in the world. Are there some wealthy Jewish people? Yes, of course. Are there wealthy Jewish people who want to have control over others? You better believe it. But are there also Christians who want to have control over others? Yes. Yes, there are. Are there, Muslims who want to have control over others? Yes, there are. Now, should the Christians and Jews and Muslims who want to control others want to control others? No, they shouldn't. If they actually want to follow the teachings of their God.
According to their faith, they should not be in that neck of the woods. They should be minding their own business.
Right. So
taking care of their own.
I mean, there are definitely people
and trying to make the world a better place.
There are people who want to control others, but they're the problem, not their religion. It's not their religion that's the problem. There are plenty of people who have the same religion that don't come to the same conclusions about wanting control over others.
Well, people. I suspect their true religion is the all-powerful dollar bill
or the state,
and they want more of it. And in order to do that, they have to be, crafty.
Well, that's not true, right? Like, you can get plenty of dollars by giving people what they want. That's the usual formula for getting money, is by helping people get the things and the services that they want in life.
And if you want to stay in business for year after year.
Yeah, because otherwise they're not going to come. If you treat people poorly, then the word of mouth is going to get around that you're running a bad business, and hopefully you'll be put out of business. So, I mean, regardless of all the conspiracy about Jewish people, I think it's ridiculous. We still do have people out in the streets in Germany, and they're protesting at the G20 summit. According to CNN, German riot police have clashed with up to thousands of protesters in Hamburg as world leaders, including Donald Trump, arrived in the city ahead of the G20 summit, which began today. Throughout the afternoon of Thursday and Thursday night, police used water cannons as protesters threw bottles and smoke bombs during the anti-capitalist Welcome to Hell March, which began about 2 miles from where the summit will be held. Firecrackers and bottles were also thrown at riot police, who attempted to disperse the crowd as police helicopters circled overhead. The clashes began after police ordered many protesters to remove their masks. At least 76 officers were hurt, including one who had a serious eye injury after a firework went off nearby. Hamburg police said it was unclear whether that figure included 2 officers whose sight was affected by someone pointing a laser at their helicopter. They didn't give the number of injured protesters and bystanders, but said that one person had been arrested for throwing a bottle. There were about 8,000 protesters, according to the police estimate, a far cry for the 100,000 that were expected on the 2 days of the summit, and the protest dissipated at around midnight. One protester, Nicholas, a 21-year-old student, said, quote, "I came here because in general I'm totally against the G20 summit. It's the root cause or reason for what's going wrong in the world. Wars can be bad, but capitalism kills," he says.
Well, I'm a little more concerned with all the wars that are being waged in our names.
Indeed. But this is a person who can envision himself being in charge of a war someday, in which case, or somebody that he loves, like Bernie Sanders.
Well, as soon as he gets out of his student debt. And moves out of his mom's basement and actually gets a real job that's not serving coffee.
Julia Reusing, age 27, from Frankfurt, was upset that police disrupted the demonstration. She said, quote, "If this is all we can do just for showing our opinion and giving a statement, and if the state forces are just shutting us up, I mean, what kind of state do we live in?" she said about authorities' initial moves to control the protests. There were also periods of calm during the day when demonstrators marched through the port city in northern Germany, home to about 1.8 million people. But after nightfall, there were flames in the streets. As marchers reached the Rote Flora, a building that has been a traditional gathering spot for leftists, a pile of trash was set on fire in the street. Police used a water cannon to put out the blaze, which consumed bicycles, bags of trash, and other items found nearby. In another area of the city, one car was destroyed by a fire. So, it goes on, and these protests are likely to continue to go on as the 2-day meeting will I guess, kicked off today and will continue through tomorrow.
I'm surprised. I'm reading this article. So there was one individual who was a climate change protester, but nowhere in this Trump hate. I find that curious. This is CNN. You'd think there would be someone in there who's like, yeah, because I know that they had prevented Melania Trump from exiting her hotel room, but no mention. I find that surprising.
Well, I mean, it is happening in Europe, so there are probably some people over there that, they may not like Trump, but he's not their president, right? So they're not as concerned for it as they might be concerned with what's going on.
As they would with Merkel.
Or whatever it is that's happening in their country. I'm sure there's people from all across Europe who've come to this. But if you want to share your thoughts with us, you're welcome to join us. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. So, I mean, are protests really going to change anything? It was during the Reagan administration. I'm forgetting the name of the gentleman who made the quote famous, but it was a really good one, and I think really poignant, where he said, let them protest so long as they pay their taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, question. Here in our country, the Boston Massacre, which was a drunken lot of individuals who came out of the bar and decided to get a little rough with the redcoats. Question, how much, and that was something that we actually learned in public school, so I guess it had some standing, but how much did it have as far as starting the revolution?
I don't know.
Or is it just a story that is kind of stuck? It's just just one of those drama crazy stories that just has all of the elements that make it worth remembering.
Yeah, I mean, surely there were other massacres that occurred. Why that one?
Well, I'm assuming. So you're asking if the riots really matter. I don't think they are until something like that happens, where there are actually not a police officer getting a fireworks in the eye, but actually 20 students getting gunned down
or something like that.
That's when it's gonna hit the fan.
Well, they've got good ways of avoiding that from happening, Conan. That's why they bring
the water cannon. Great.
Yeah. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, or they got the sound generating device, LRAD or something like that. 855-450-3733. We're going to get back into that mom that got arrested because we haven't even really scratched the surface of that story for letting her child shop by himself at the Lego store. That's coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
You have probably heard about Bitcoin and virtual currencies, but you don't really know what to do next. Maybe you feel like they have already passed you by. Nothing could be further from the truth. Bitcoin is an emergent technology still. It's still in beta, and it is sweeping the globe. All the information that you need to learn about Bitcoin is at Bitcoin.com. Go to your browser, type in Bitcoin.com, choose a wallet program, get Bitcoins, and then spend Bitcoins. Bitcoin.com, the only site you need to know for virtual currencies. Bitcoin.com.
When I get to about 3/4, when I get down to the bottom, a couple more scoops, it's time to place my order. Dinovite.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dinovite. DINOVITE.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, July 7th, 2017. Silver is trading at $15.92 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,223 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,545. Antiwar.com reports Secretary of State Rex Tillerson revealed that discussions with Russia are likely during the G20 summit, with a focus on issues related to the Syrian war, including humanitarian aid and the possibility of mutually imposing a no-fly zone in parts of the country. Tillerson suggested that such a deal could greatly improve military-to-military communications between the U.S. and Russia, which have been strained during the war as the two sides often find themselves with conflicting goals. Tillerson's comments on enforcing no-fly zones may suggest that there is no expectation that U.S. and Russian planes would actually abide by the no-fly zones imposed, but that this would rather be limitations imposed on other nations involved in the fighting. This is a potential complication for such a deal either way, as the U.S. would doubtless expect a no-fly zone to primarily limit the Syrian government's strikes against rebel forces, while Russia would likely not want to limit their allies so much as limit the chances of the U.S. coalition getting into air battles with the Syrian government's air force. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Illinois legislature on Thursday voted to override the governor and usher in a new tax hike and balance the budget, something the state hasn't been able to do in more than 2 years. A bipartisan Illinois House voted 72-41 to supersede Governor Bruce Rauner, fearing they would only lead to more tax increases in the near future. Thursday's vote marked the first time since 2015 that the state passed a measure to balance the budget. House Speaker Michael Madigan said Republicans and Democrats stood together to enact a bipartisan balanced budget and end a destructive 736-day impasse. The people in this chamber did not do what was easy, but we did what was right for the future of our state. Rauner countered, today was another step in Illinois' never-ending tragic trail of tax hikes. Madigan's 32% permanent income tax increase will force another tax hike in the near future. His tax and spend plan is not balanced, does not cut enough spending or pay down enough debt, and does not help grow jobs or restore confidence in government. A number of Republicans and Democrats both voted in favor of and against the veto override. Representative Steve Anderson said, I believe it's a historic day because it's a day where we decide the fate of our state. Do we want to save it or do we want to let it go into meltdown? Representative David McSweeney said, what we do know for sure is that the budget is going to hurt people. We've all heard from our constituents. They're wondering how they're going to pay their high property taxes. They're wondering how they're going to pay their living expenses because we're raising their income tax rate by 32%. And what do we get? Nothing. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports private employers in the United States hired fewer workers than expected in June, and applications for unemployment benefits last week increased for a third straight week, pointing to some loss of momentum in job growth as the labor market nears full employment. Those signs were also evident in another report on Thursday showing growth in service industry employment slowing in June, even as the sector continued to expand at a healthy clip. The moderation in job gains likely reflects difficulties by employers finding suitable workers amid an unemployment rate that is at a 16-year low. The ADP National Employment Report showed private sector payrolls increased by 158,000 jobs last month, stepping down from the 230,000 positions created in May and below the expectations of 185,000 new jobs. In a separate report, the Labor Department said initial claims for state unemployment benefits increased 4,000 to a seasonally adjusted 248,000 for the week ending July 1st. It was the third straight weekly increase in unemployment claims. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Our very own Tracy met farmer Ray Kimball, who says that his horse, Franklin, has the ability to speak full sentences.
When did you first realize he could talk?
Well, I'd hear him saying things when I was sleeping, and then I'd go out to the barn and we'd have some real conversations.
Can we talk to Franklin?
He can't wait to meet you. Say hi, Franklin. What's that? That's a good one.
What did he say?
He said, "Who's the pretty lady?"
Aw. Franklin, do you like living on the farm?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Did he say something?
Tracy, you live here now.
I spent a cozy night at Ray's farmhouse in a room he called the altar. I learned that the farmer has a whole lot more on his mind than just a talking horse.
You are my beloved.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free as we launch into the second hour of the program. Plenty of time for you if you want to join us now. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. With you in studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
So according to the Free Range Kids blog at freerangekids.com, another parent, this time a mom in upstate New York in the Rochester area, has been arrested for the dastardly crime of allowing her 10-year-old son to shop at the Lego store while she shopped at a different store in the same mall. The story from WHEC says a Pittsford mother is accused of leaving her 10-year-old child alone in the Lego store. Deputies say that 44-year-old Gia Fan was arrested at about 5:37 Sunday evening and charged with endangering the welfare of a child. Alert readers may recall that similar things happened in 2014 in Long Island, and then a Lego store in Canada also detained an 11-year-old. The store detained the 11-year-old for being too young to shop alone. That child's father, Doug Dunlop, wrote this letter to the company, quote, "Dear Lego, today our son went to the Lego store in Chinook Mall, Calgary, Alberta. He had over $200 and was intending to purchase some Legos with it. Imagine my surprise when I entered the store and found that the manager had called a security guard to detain my son. I spoke to the security guard, who told me the Lego store required a parent to be with any child 12 or under. He stated it was Lego store policy and that he was just enforcing it. I then followed the guard to the manager and asked him why he would call security on my son. He said that for safety reasons, no child under 12 could be left unattended in the store."
Okay, so now this was a 2015 incident. Not the
that's
same.
correct.
Not the same incident as the mother who was actually arrested. I'm more interested in that. Did they actually arrest her, or did some cops just come and talk to her and say, "Hey, look"?
No, she was at the very least charged.
You can't do this.
I mean, most of the time when they charge somebody, they arrest them, but not always. So back to the question. So it was just an excerpt from his letter. She goes on. This is Free Range Kids. My question, is a child of double digits unattended or simply on their own if they're out in public without an adult chaperone? One label implies negligence on the part of the parent. The other implies a parent who has raised a competent young adult. Another question, did Lego call the cops on the latest kid, or did the cops stumble upon the kid on their own? The Lego corporate press office has not responded to my request for comment. The manager of the Eastview Mall Lego store, now we're talking about the one in Rochester here, this one that just happened, Dan Prouty, told me he could not comment on whether or not someone at his store called the cops. But Prouty did acknowledge that there's a sign in his store's window that says, in his words, quote, "Children under the age of 12 are not allowed to be unattended in the store." That's paraphrased a little bit, unquote.
You know, I suspect this is actually, because Reason has found 3 incidents in the past 3 years that this has happened at Lego stores. I suspect it's part of their policy. Children 17 and under, 17 and under
17, okay,
must be accompanied by an adult supervisor. 18 years of age of older adults, 18 plus, will not be admitted without a child. Adults 18 and up without a child can't actually enter either. So they've got
Whoa.
So you can't be too young and you can't be too old. Interesting.
Okay, so wait, run that by me one more time.
So this is
because it says here it's age under 12 can't come in unattended.
That's the sign in his window.
Right.
Now the actual policy on their page, you know what? I'm actually going to have to click on this. All right, so Reason has quoted their policy. Children 17 and under must be accompanied by an adult supervisor 18 years of age or older.
It's ridiculous.
Adults 18 and over will not be admitted without a child, with the exception of adult-only nights. So I guess they're going to open it up to adult shopping for Christmas, because you can't take your kids Christmas shopping when you're,
right.
You can't take them with you.
That is crazy restrictions, man. I don't know if that applies at the Disney store, because I was saying, Mark and we were at Disney World, and they had a Lego store. I'd never been in one of these things before. Apparently, I can't go to them. But I was in this one, and it was just so busy, Conan, that maybe they just couldn't possibly enforce those rules, because it was just nonstop traffic in and out of that place. I mean, the lines, if you are a cashier at this store, it doesn't stop for you. You have to, take a break and have somebody relieve you, because it's non-stop purchasing. You don't get to do anything else as a cashier.
The question is, why has Lego had to enact these policies? Is it because they are doing so good that they are able to actually, are they having problems with kids going through there
getting abducted or
something? Just looking and knocking things over, shoplifting?
Well, of course, kids are going to, break stuff. I mean, that's. I guess it makes sense. I understand the reason why you wouldn't want a small child in there, because they might pee on the floor or something like that. I don't know, but it seems really unusually restricted, like crazy. Anyway, let me go on here. The Lego corporate press office also did not respond. She says, okay, so this is Lenore Skenazy. She says she went into the Lego store at Rockefeller Center in New York City yesterday and asked the guard if I could let my hypothetical 11-year-old come shop by himself, and the guard told me no, she says. Lego does seem obsessed with age liability, and then she quotes the rules that you just quoted. She says some people are almost always too old or too young to visit a Legoland alone. As for the mom in upstate New York, WHEC says she was, quote, given an appearance ticket. Okay, so there's your answer. She was not arrested. She was just ticketed there, right there on the spot, and is expected to answer the charge in Victortown Court on a future date. So again, charged with endangering the welfare of a child for allowing her son to go into the Lego store by himself.
Endangering the welfare of a child is driving drunk 90 miles an hour down the interstate.
Absolutely.
With your kids in the back seat, not strapped into their car seats.
That's
allowing your kids to actually get out, get dirty, figure things out on their own, learn on their own. The only thing you're asking for is having your kids live with you till they're 30. Because they're not going to be able to do anything. They're not going to wash their clothes. They're not going to be able to go shopping on their own and buy their own stuff. They're not going to be able to take care of themselves. It's just these overprotective PC regulations not regulations, just the mindset that
it's scary.
That mostly the boomers are responsible for, but in a way it's Generation X as well.
I want to know, if there's anybody listening to us tonight who supports the fact that this lady was arrested, who thinks that this is endangering a child, that you always have to have your children within your immediate vicinity in order for you to not be arrested and or charged with some sort of crime. Because now, if mom gets convicted of this, well, she's going to go to jail.
Well, she's not going to go. Well, she might lose her kid.
That's a possibility as well.
They will open up a case. They will look at her. They will look at her income. Yeah. They will look at her priors.
Send a social worker over.
They will see if she has a job.
Yep.
And they will make a decision. And she'll either lose her kid or she'll have to go through a year's worth of caseworkers. Coming over every week. To make sure that she's not abusing her kids or endangering them or whatnot.
If they get their hands on her child, then he's really in danger. You want to talk about endangering the welfare of a child? Go ahead, put him in a foster home.
Oh yeah, it's always better to leave him with the dad that's beating his kids than it is to actually put him in one of these foster homes where the kid might die
There's a chance of that. Although, again, nobody's even accused her of beating the child, just, letting him go shopping.
Well, that's the thing. It's actually, this is how bad it's gotten where...
That's tantamount to beating them.
Whereas, like, if you throw that argument at us, could you leave a child with his abusive stepdad versus the stepdad allowing his kid to walk down to McDonald's on his own with a pocket full of cash?
Mm-hmm.
What is more...
What's worse?
What's worse?
Give the kid a respite.
I know exactly what's worse.
Break.
But now we're at a point where that line has been erased.
It's a scary... I mean, this is like so... I just can't even imagine why somebody would support what happened to this lady. How a cop could do what they did to her. How anybody out there could look at this case and say, yeah, that's right, throw the book at her. She needs to get punished for letting her child go into the Lego store.
The do-gooders of the world only want the best for us, Ian.
And if Lego is behind this, if Lego is the people who called the police, shame on them for that. That is they should be embarrassed by doing that. 855-450 free allows you to comment. Free Talk Live.
Warning, if you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to cover your ears. Because there's an alternative to bankruptcy, and it could be better than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to cover your ears now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could resolve your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now, 1-800-660-1581. That's 1-800-660-1581. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
And membership is only $9.95.
Yep. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and you can dial toll-free to join us here on the radio. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Conan.
Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Well, join Dash. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. Fees are low, and transactions are fast and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. That's dash.org. You can find out why as we go to your calls and thoughts. Still, would love to hear from somebody that thinks parents should be arrested. Parents should be ticketed. Parents should have to go to court if their child, in this case a 10-year-old boy, is allowed to go shopping by themselves. In an event that likely every child of the 80s, as you and I are, Conan, has gone through this, where you're at the mall with your parents, your mom wants to go to some store, and you don't want to go with her. You know, there's a very good chance that it was her son who wanted to go into that store by himself, and she allowed him to do it. She felt like he was, he's with it enough, aware of his surroundings enough, knows to say no to strangers or whatever, and, she felt comfortable allowing him to do that, but somebody called the cops. Maybe it was the store. They aren't commenting about it, and the cops ended up ticketing her for it with an endangering the welfare of a child charge. So if you want to weigh in on that, would love to hear from you, especially if you support what the police are doing. And is this something that's only happening in New York? Are there other states where this is going down?
If you Google parents being arrested for allowing their kids to walk to school, to McDonald's, to the store, leaving them on their own, the list is endless. This is just Lego and the moment.
Okay,
but this has been going on for many years, and it's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger.
I don't think I've ever heard of anything like this happening in New Hampshire, for instance. I mean, there's a big difference in kind of the attitudes of people between New York and New Hampshire, where people, I think, tend to be more independent, more freedom-minded.
I mean, more like live free or die.
Yeah,
let your kids go to the store on their own or die.
More leave me alone kind of thing, leave my kids alone kind of thing. So I want to hear from you if you want to weigh in. But let's go to your calls here. 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Shirley is in Arizona listening to K-Talks. Shirley, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, I'd just like to comment about the Lego incident with the child.
Sure.
My feeling is it goes back to the saying where do you know where your children are? And it's a safety thing because there are so many predators out there, and they focus in on stores and malls where they see unattended children. And a lot of people have lost their children that way.
No, it's not a lot of people. You know that that actually happens less often these days?
Right. But also,
right.
I have worked in the stores in the past, and children do inadvertently touch things and maybe get hurt. And then there have been instances where children have gone and fallen asleep underneath counters.
Yep.
And, they went and they were looking for the child. So,
that's
to
scary.
Me,
sure.
I would want to keep an eye on my child or make sure he's with or she is with an older child or cousin or brother, so that they're not vulnerable to things. Stuff happens, and they're still kids.
You've got to let it happen. If you don't let the kid get too close to the stove, he's never going to figure it out. And one day when you're not there, he's gonna figure it out and burn himself badly. I mean,
I get the point what she's saying though. I mean, you don't want like a kid pulling down a shelf on top of themselves.
And that's why I think this isn't about predators, because there aren't any more predators now than there were.
There are fewer
30 years ago. This is about liability, and the company doesn't want to get sued.
Well, that's the two probably, but also they say like when you carry a concealed weapon, be aware of your surroundings.
Right.
And the child is so engrossed in what they're doing with the toys and stuff that, and somebody could say, oh, that kid's got a lot of money. There's all kinds of dangers. I don't let
Nobody's going to say that about a kid. I mean, kids generally don't have a lot of money. It's pretty unusual. Like this, they gave one example of a kid that had $200 in a Lego store, and I guess you pretty much have to have $200 if you're going to go to the Lego store. But
not typical.
Yeah, it's pretty atypical for sure.
Well, I know at their local grocery store, when you go anywhere, they don't want kids running up and down the aisles because they're afraid they'll fall. And to me, it's just, I personally would want to know where my child is with someone.
Okay, that's fine, but do you think that this lady should have been charged criminally? Because it's one thing to say, okay, good. Thank goodness.
No, I don't think she should be charged criminally. She should just be, the store has their policies, and like I said, the child may be not mature for their age, and, how can the store employee make that judgment,
In your opinion, when does a child become a teenager?
Well, I believe
capable
in the
of taking care of their own.
I believe in the buddy system. We had that in camp, that when you go somewhere, it's best to go with someone,
Well, even in that case,
the buddy system.
Well, in that case, two 10-year-olds would also not have been allowed in here. So Lego's incredibly restrictive. They won't even allow. It seemed like they had two different policies. The one that we read was if they're under 12, they're not allowed in unattended. But then there's another one that says children 17 and under must be accompanied by an adult supervisor.
Well,
so I don't get
it. I know in some states they had a lot of trouble with teenagers and younger at some of the malls, that it got to the point where
they had to ban teens from the mall
and all. So maybe that's part of it,
Well,
that,
I understand.
They can't be babysitting everybody's kid.
Yeah, no doubt. I get it. Look, I get it from the perspective of a store. Like, you don't want a bunch of hooligans hanging around scaring away the good customers, right? You don't want a bunch of loser teenagers who have no job and nothing to do, just hanging out all day and, heckling customers or whatever. You don't want that happening. So I get it. I don't blame anybody for banning a bunch of teenage punks from their mall. I don't think there's any problem with that. But we're talking about children here who are young and who are, they at some point need to be let off the leash. They at some point need to be allowed to explore the world on their own. This arbitrary age of 18, that's no good. You can't have it be where it's 18 when you finally let your son or daughter go to the store by themselves. That's crazy.
And suddenly you can go to the store and you can vote and you can join the military and you can buy cigarettes.
I related to when you go diving or swimming, take a buddy with you. When you go somewhere hiking, take a buddy with you. So to me, I know the policy to me is two kids together. They can, share and watch out for each other.
Yeah, they'd be a little safer that way, for sure.
They have their own policy,
Shirley, thank you for your call tonight. I appreciate your input on this. And I'm glad that she didn't think that mom, in this case, should have been arrested. So, every parent, they set their own rules. They set their own circumstances for their kids, what they think is appropriate and not. But the problem comes in when you want to force your viewpoint down on other parents, when you believe you're so right on how to raise kids that you're willing to use the violence of the state to enforce that viewpoint on others. That's when it crosses the line in my book. This is Free Talk Live. You can weigh in.
fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA pack technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Ralph, remember when you said you were going to start paying more attention to your health and now you're eating potato chips?
Just a few.
A few, okay, but you should be eating Superberry's Aronia berries.
Aroni what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness. Go to superberries.com/radio. And right now we get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus we can save $4 at checkout.
Wow, look at all the benefits of these berries.
I know, Ralph, I know.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love,
and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free and bring up what you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. It's Ian in the studio with you here tonight.
And Conan.
And don't forget, if you want to help support Free Talk Live, then you can go shopping with us. Hey, there's no age restrictions at Amazon.
Uh-oh.
You just go to shop.freetalklive.com. You enter Amazon. They don't know how old you are, so they can't stop you from coming in there. And they don't care, really, as long as your credit card number clears. They don't care if you're 10 years old. They have no idea.
How many 10-year-olds have a credit card?
Well, they might have borrowed mom's credit card in that case. Whether they did it with her permission or not is another question. But you can go to shop.freetalklive.com, and I bet you they've got a big Lego selection there. And I wonder, where's the cheapest place to get Legos these days?
eBay.
Is it eBay?
I think you're always going to get buying used and buying the
I meant brand new,
the buckets,
like the brand new sets.
Brand new, a sale, Christmas sales at like Walmart or Home Depot.
So if you go to shop.freetalklive.com, you can order whatever you need to get, and Free Talk Live gets a portion of the purchase price. Just start your shopping at shop.freetalklive.com as we continue here. So, people, they've got a lot of opinions about how people should raise their kids. I personally don't. I don't have kids. Conan, you did. You had a daughter. And, how did you handle growing up with responsibilities? I mean, do you remember the first time that you kind of let her come home from school alone or go to the park by herself or whatever? Do you have any recollection of that?
Oh, yeah. And I had runs in with Children Family Services.
Really?
Really. Leaving the kid alone.
Where?
In the house.
In the house?
Locked. To run down
How
down the street, like 10 years old, something like that.
I was coming home at 7 when I was home alone. I remember my parents felt I was ready. They gave me my own key to the house, and I was able to come home alone and, sit and watch cartoons until my parents got home
for a couple more hours until parents are getting home from work. You can't do that anymore. So here I am, actually raised my daughter pretty much the same way, not the same way that I was. I was let loose. I was, I didn't even wear clothes until I was in kindergarten. Lived on 40 acres of farmland, running around with the animals, wading through the swamp. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, there was countless snakes and critters that I would go out and collect. But I moved to Gainesville, which was a little bigger than where I grew up.
Yep. And you were right, by the way. I checked the population. There's over 100,000.
And there was one time. This happened more than once. I would just run down to the gas station or something.
Buck naked?
Yeah, exactly. No, this is when, as a father with my 10-year-old at home.
Oh, okay.
One of the neighbors started monitoring me, and sure enough, I left out for a second, and they called the cops. I came home, and they were waiting for me.
What did they say to you?
Oh, they ran me through the racket. I had to deal with these people for a whole year before they determined that I was not a threat to my daughter and that I was good to go. But there was an awful lot of man hours that were used to determine that. And I heard the horror stories. As soon as I dealt with one caseworker, and about a couple of weeks in, she realized that it was pointless. Mm-hmm. So our visits became just that. Her day.
It was doing her job.
It was her hour off, really. Right. And we would just talk about all the horror stories that she had to deal with. And I heard there are horror stories taking place.
Of course, there's abusive parents who actually hurt their kids. And those are the ones you would think they'd be focusing on, but instead, they're focusing on these busybody neighbors who are calling in reports. Who was the neighbor? Do you know who it was?
Oh, I know exactly who it was.
Is it like some old lady that's just looking out her window all day?
That's exactly what it was. Nothing to do.
Florida for you.
It was a grandmother. Her kids had already moved on.
It was Gainesville, you said.
It was in Gainesville. Yeah. And we never had any issues. I didn't have a
old mail drench got to protect the whole neighborhood.
I didn't have an unkept or dirty lawn. I didn't make noise. I was a good neighbor.
Yeah.
And it was just this one incident that she determined that something's got to be done.
She knew you had left the house without your daughter,
mm-hmm.
and she called the cops.
Yeah.
And this was how long ago? A decade? Something like that?
Well, she was 10 years old, so it was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And that was a very, very scary times for me, because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Sure, they could take your kid.
I raised my daughter as a single parent her whole life.
Right.
And her mother wouldn't have been capable of taking care of her. So I don't know where she would have gone.
Someplace bad.
Well, maybe they would have introduced the grandparents, possibly.
Mm.
I don't know what the decisions they make after that. But yeah, it was. I put my good face on for sure. I'm not going to lie. I did not try to fight the man, try to fight the system. I played all their games.
Yeah, well, they'll escalate and take your kid.
Yeah, I played all their games and signed all of their letters, and went to court and the whole nine, and it's all past me.
The only thing I can think of around here, and again, I mean, I don't see all the news headlines in this area. You're probably more connected to it than I am, Conan, because you did a local news show for a while, news and opinion show here in the Keene, New Hampshire area. And the only thing I can recollect is when Keene police officer Jason Short smashed in somebody's car window like a year or so ago.
I remember that.
And he thought it was a baby that had been left in a hot car, but it was actually like a realistic-looking doll.
I think that's happened more than once, too. Not just here in Keene, but that got national headlines.
He did make some headlines on that one. And by the way, Jason Short, for those that don't know, is featured as one of the antagonists in the documentary film Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree, so you can see who he is there. But, to his credit, he at least thought it was a baby in a hot car.
Did you see pictures of the baby?
I don't recall.
This is one of those.
It's realistic looking.
Very realistic, almost sickly realistic babies.
Well, it's like for what, teenage girls to teach them about baby rearing or whatever?
No, I think this was a mother who couldn't have kids who collected these things. And
really? Okay.
There's.
I thought it was one of those things where they get, they have to take care of the baby for like a week in school or something like that.
Well, the kid was in a car seat, strapped in. I mean,
wow. So it looked real.
It looked real. Yeah. I probably would have broken open the window myself.
You can forgive him for that, right?
Yeah,
that makes sense. And I think they did apologize ultimately in that circumstance.
And probably paid for it.
Maybe.
Well, I'm sorry, we paid for it.
Well, okay, yeah. But I don't recall hearing anything else about that. So I'm not saying it doesn't happen in New Hampshire, but I don't ever see those headlines. It seems like the three that we've got here tonight of the Lego store incidents, 2 out of the 3 were New York, and the third was in Canada. So is this insanity definitely is afflicting a lot of people today. That's definitely true. But I just find myself wondering, are there some places that are more safe than others as far as the attitudes of the parents in or other people in that region?
Yeah, out in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Out
where no one can.
Where people, they're watching each other. You got where neighborhood watches exist.
Mm-hmm.
Where people are watching. You go to a population of 100,000 and people, they don't know each other's names.
Yeah.
They just, they're just people they're just units in a hive. And they learn these things. They learn these things because they saw them on court TV.
Yeah.
They saw them on their favorite sitcom or on their favorite crime movie, and they don't know what else to do except it seems like it's ingrained in them, and it's what they're supposed to do.
They think they're helping.
Yeah, they think they're helping, and maybe in the case of this woman, who I don't think she was a little hillbilly. I think. She might have been.
Which one? In this story?
No, in my situation.
The woman who called on you, the snitch.
Yeah, I think she was projecting. I think that she might have been in some situations where she was dealing with some baby daddy drama, and possibly she was just looking out for me because she didn't want to.
Looking out for you.
Yeah, looking out for me and the kid, of course.
How is that looking out for you by calling the cops on you?
Well, I mean, looking out for the kid, of course, first, and then me second. Because I'm the one paying the bills. I'm the one, driving the kid to school and feeding them.
It's just a terrifying.
And back to the Lego thing. I don't think this is the PC rules taking over. I think it's just policy to prevent riffraff from taking over the store.
Riffraff? You mean like teenagers?
Teenager problems. Yeah,
I see what you're saying. More coming up here in moments. 855-450 free like freedom. 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
You've said it yourself. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health, not sickness. Health insurance pays for treating sickness but gives you nothing for being healthy. There's a free market healthcare company that gives you freedom from health insurance. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge 24-hour access to doctors. Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and price. HealthExcellenceSelect.com. HealthExcellenceSelect.com.
Aging is one thing that affects everyone. George has talked about the power of stem cells for years. Now, there's a new serum that harnesses that stem cell power to bring back your youthful look. Beverly Hills doctor Nathan Newman.
Stem cells are basically our fountain of youth. This is what maintains our body's reparative, regenerative abilities. As we age, every cell breaks down and needs to be replaced, and what replaces it is the stem cell.
Dr. Newman and Janess have developed Lumin-S. Lumin-S takes the science of stem cells, using the same growth factor complex that literally heals our cells, slowing the appearance of the aging process. Apply Lumin-S twice daily, and on average, see results in a week. Learn more, watch our video, and order today at a special Coast website, healthylooking.com. Plus, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, that's healthylooking.com. Lumin-S, for a healthier, much younger, better-looking you. Buy now at healthylooking.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. You can Skype into the show at Skype username lrn.fm. And, of course, you can join us online and get interactive over at freetalklive.com, where we've got the Free Talk Live, the YouTube channel, where you can watch the show live on YouTube. You can also watch it later on. We've got archives that go back for at least a couple of years, I think, now on YouTube. And, of course, non-YouTube archives, audio archives go back for like a decade over at freetalklive.com. If you want to find our YouTube channel, you can just go to youtube.freetalklive.com. That'll take you right to it. There was a headline a few weeks ago from, let's see here, this was The Sun.co.uk. This was the 28th of June, so I guess that's only about a week and a half ago. And then just recently, this week, an update about the Venezuelan cop who has apparently stolen a police helicopter and then proceeded to drop grenades on the Supreme Court in a coup attempt. And he's making videos as well, with like him, and here's one of them from that the Sun has on the front page of the website here, not their website, but this article, with the man in question, this rogue cop, and let's see, I don't even have his name right now. Oscar Perez, that's what it is. Oscar Perez standing with 4 masked men with machine guns behind him. Perez is the only one that is unmasked, and he delivers some sort of message, probably in Spanish here. The cop apparently counts Ms. Venezuela, former Ms. Venezuela, as a friend, and is actually in photographs with Ms. Venezuela, whose name is Irene Esser. She's packing heat. She's carrying a machine gun with him and looking pretty nice.
You left out one part, police helicopter pilot / part-time actor.
Well, you got to do what you got to do to make ends meet.
And he looks like someone straight off of a
Miami Vice or
Latin drama, adult drama.
According to the story at the Sun, the aircraft that he stole fired 15 shots at the Interior Ministry in Caracas, where scores of people were at a social event, say officers. Footage on social media shows a police helicopter circling over the city before shots and a loud bang are heard. The celebrity police officer is said to have piloted the stolen aircraft, issued a statement denouncing the, quote, criminal government, unquote, on Instagram. President Nicolas Maduro said the attack was a bizarre attempt at ousting him from power. Earlier, the chopper pilot, identified as Oscar Perez, called for a rebellion against Maduro's tyranny as part of a coalition of members of the country's security forces. And then there's multiple photos of this man who, presumably these are from his Instagram account. Oscar, looks like Instagram, Oscar Perez GV is perhaps where these came from. One of them with him underwater holding a machine gun. I don't know if guns work very well underwater. I don't think they're designed for that. There's a photo of him hanging out of the stolen helicopter with the machine gun. Another one with him and like a samurai sword. I mean, this guy really, he's something else. Calling openly for rebellion, teaming up with Irene Esser, former Miss Venezuela. Authorities said they were still searching for the rebel, who's a part-time actor and has appeared in a number of films. In a video released on social media, Perez, flanked by 4 armed men, says, quote, that's the one I just played an excerpt from, quote, Venezuelans, dear brothers, we talk to you on behalf of the state. We are a coalition of military, police, and civilians in search of an equilibrium and against this transitory criminal government. We have 2 choices: be judged tomorrow by our conscience and the people, or begin today to free ourselves from this corrupt government. He added, this fight is against the vile government, against tyranny. Unquote.
Interesting. The more I look into this, the more suspicious I am of this man and who is backing him.
You think that he is he's a plant?
I think he's a CIA hitman.
CIA?
Oh yeah. They want to. Well, they've done a lot of damage to Venezuela.
Have
but
they?
I mean, well, sure, but
what have they done?
But they don't have the guy in control who they would want in control. If they were to rewrite the Constitution and have re-elections, they could get someone more favorable to the U.S. In charge, and
which could lower oil prices. Is that what the motivation is?
Yeah, it's either oil or some other natural resource.
Well, I mean, they've got plenty of resources.
Are there any
theory,
are there any canals going through Venezuela, or is that only Panama?
I don't know about that. I don't think so. But they've got a lush natural resources that they could tap. The only thing is they're not, because they're a socialist hellhole, and you're not basically allowed to own things and own land.
Before it turned into a hellhole, how was tourism?
It was fine at some point in the past.
I find it interesting that the government of Venezuela, the government accused the policeman of links to the CIA and to
they accused him of
Miguel Rodriguez, a former interior minister and intelligence chief under Mr. Maduro, and his predecessor, Hugo Chavez, who recently broke with the government.
What if he is not working directly for the CIA? What if they're funding him and he doesn't even realize
that's typically how it works.
Yeah.
The money doesn't always come directly from some guy in a suit. It goes around a couple of corners.
Perez also claims to not be associated with any political party, stating in another video that his allegiance is, quote, to the truth and to Christ, unquote. Venezuelan site El Nacional has reported that Perez is a former captain in the CICPC, Venezuela's intelligence and investigative body. That sounds like the secret police. There was a story, Conan, that we shared about Bitcoin miners in Venezuela, where the secret police of Venezuela, like their equivalent of the
Gestapo?
No. Well, maybe, but their equivalent of like the essentially the Secret Service here in the United States. The secret police in Venezuela is looking for Bitcoin miners. They're investigating Bitcoin miners because in Venezuela the government subsidizes the power. So people don't pay for the power they actually use. They pay a subsidized rate or get it for free. And so you can mine Bitcoin for near free for just the cost of the equipment. And so the Bitcoin miners who are able to operate undetected are actually doing very, very well, and they're living well, and they're able to give money to people and.
And are they cracking down and taking their Bitcoin from them, or
they're taking their equipment from them and they're arresting them, charging them with
and then keeping the Bitcoin
if they can get it,
themselves.
And they're charging them with basically stealing power. So apparently, it sounds like this guy used to work for that agency. His Instagram profile, which states he's a crime unit investigator, a pilot, and canine instructor, is flooded with pictures of him holding guns. One of them features former Miss Venezuela Irene Esser with the pair seen lying on the ground and pointing guns. Local media has also linked Perez to a 2015 action film called Suspended Death, which he co-produced and starred in as an intelligence agent who's sent to rescue a kidnapped businessman. Those on the ground say it's a miracle that no one was killed during the incident. Again, he threw at least one grenade, apparently, out of the helicopter and shot multiple times at the Interior Ministry and the Supreme Court. Later on, Information Minister, which basically means he's a liar, Ernesto Villegas read a statement from the government accusing the helicopter of firing 15 shots against the Interior Ministry as a reception was taking place for 80 people celebrating National Journalist Day. It then flew a short distance to the court, which was in session at the time. Remember, this is the same court that protesters set fire to a few weeks ago and launched what were called what was said were four Israeli-made grenades of Colombian origin. Villegas said his security forces...
Wait, they're Israeli-made of Colombian origin.
Meaning they were made in Israel, and then supposedly they came from Colombia. So they were smuggled in to Venezuela from Colombia, is the claim. That's the claim. Now, that's what the government says, and we know they lie, and they want to make Colombia look like, a bad guy. It's their next-door neighbor there. They've got a border with Colombia, and there's constantly people smuggling things out and into, mostly out of Venezuela. If they can get gas and smuggle it out and then get paid in U.S. dollars for it in Colombia, that makes them very, it makes it worth the trip to heft a big old tank of gas across the border. It's fascinating stuff. Security forces were being deployed to apprehend Perez, but they didn't. They didn't apprehend him because he's back in the news again. According to an updated story from PanAmPost.com, the same police officer who stole the helicopter in Caracas late last month has now reappeared in a new video, calling for further action against Nicolas Maduro's dictatorship. Oscar Perez, they again kind of recap what happened. Now he's released another video describing the second phase of his plan. He says, quote, "We will remain firmly on the streets with ferocity and energy." And what he's referring to there is the protesters that have been in the streets of Venezuela for many weeks. It's been pretty intense down there from what I understand. And he's saying they're not going to let up. He says, quote, "We are defending our future, rights, and liberty," unquote. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Does this guy really believe in liberty, or does he just want a seat at the throne? This is Free Talk Live, Hour 3 coming up.
You have probably heard about Bitcoin and virtual currencies, but you don't really know what to do next. Maybe you feel like they have already passed you by. Nothing could be further from the truth. Bitcoin is an emergent technology still. It's still in beta and it is sweeping the globe. All the information that you need to learn about Bitcoin is at bitcoin.com. Go to your browser, type in bitcoin.com, choose a wallet program, get Bitcoins, and then spend Bitcoins. Bitcoin.com, the only site you need to know for virtual currencies. Bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, July 7th, 2017. Silver is trading at $15.92 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,223 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,545. Antiwar.com reports Secretary of State Rex Tillerson revealed that discussions with Russia are likely during the G20 summit, with a focus on issues related to the Syrian war, including humanitarian aid and the possibility of mutually imposing a no-fly zone in parts of the country. Tillerson suggested that such a deal could greatly improve military-to-military communications between the U.S. and Russia, which have been strained during the war as the two sides often find themselves with conflicting goals. Tillerson's comments on enforcing no-fly zones may suggest that there is no expectation that U.S. and Russian planes would actually abide by the no-fly zones imposed, but that this would rather be limitations imposed on other nations involved in the fighting. This is a potential complication for such a deal either way, as the U.S. would doubtless expect a no-fly zone to primarily limit the Syrian government strikes against rebel forces, while Russia would likely not want to limit their allies so much as limit the chances of the U.S. coalition getting into air battles with the Syrian government's air force. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Illinois legislature on Thursday voted to override the governor and usher in a new tax hike and balance the budget, something the state hasn't been able to do in more than 2 years. A bipartisan Illinois House voted 72-41 to supersede Governor Bruce Rauner, fearing they would only lead to more tax increases in the near future. Thursday's vote marked the first time since 2015 that the state passed a measure to balance the budget. House Speaker Michael Madigan said Republicans and Democrats stood together to enact a bipartisan balanced budget and end a destructive 736-day impasse. The people in this chamber did not do what was easy, but we did what was right for the future of our state. Rauner countered, today was another step in Illinois' never-ending tragic trail of tax hikes. Madigan's 32% permanent income tax increase will force another tax hike in the near future. His tax and spend plan is not balanced, does not cut enough spending or pay down enough debt, and does not help grow jobs or restore confidence in government. A number of Republicans and Democrats both voted in favor of and against the veto override. Representative Steve Anderson said, "I believe it's a historic day because it's a day where we decide the fate of our state. Do we want to save it or do we want to let it go into a meltdown?" Representative David McSweeney said, "What we do know for sure is that the budget is going to hurt people. We've all heard from our constituents. They're wondering how they're going to pay their high property taxes. They're wondering how they're going to pay their living expenses because we're raising their income tax rate by 32%. And what do we get? Nothing." In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports private employers in the United States hired fewer workers than expected in June, and applications for unemployment benefits last week increased for a third straight week, pointing to some loss of momentum in job growth as the labor market nears full employment. Those signs were also evident in another report on Thursday showing growth in service industry employment slowing in June, even as the sector continued to expand at a healthy clip. The moderation in job gains likely reflects difficulties by employers finding suitable workers amid an unemployment rate that is at a 16-year low. The ADP National Employment Report showed private sector payrolls increased by 158,000 jobs last month, stepping down from the 230,000 positions created in May and below the expectations of 185,000 new jobs. In a separate report, the Labor Department said initial claims for state unemployment benefits increased 4,000 to a seasonally adjusted 248,000 for the week ending July 1st. It was the third straight weekly increase in unemployment claims. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A severe allergic reaction causes Florida to swell up to twice its normal size, and a Ford assembly line worker is thinking about asking out a cute welding robot from work. It's time for the weekly feature with over 14 subliminal and completely unapologetic cues to purchase Energizer batteries. This is the Onion Week in Review. Area man Brett Lucier told reporters Tuesday he was left winded after placing a particularly lengthy lunch order at a local Wendy's. A weary Lucier said he struggled to get through the 7-item order and even suffered a cramp while asking for the spicy chicken sandwich.
I thought I was just about done after I ordered that junior bacon cheeseburger, but I was able to get that Frosty in there too.
And in this week's op-ed pages, a local man talks about how he was always just one of those kids who was off by himself taking cats apart to see how they work. In your hands right now are the 24 AA Energizer lithium batteries you were subconsciously manipulated into purchasing. We make no apology. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. As always, you can take control of the airwaves here. You can bring up whatever is on your mind.
En Caracas, listos y dispuestos a continuar con nuestra lucha férrea por la liberación de nuestra patria.
Lots of questions about this man, Oscar Perez. He is a supposed police officer who has turned against the Maduro administration and now claims to be part of a group of officers, all of whom are at this time hidden, except for him. So he's the front man, and there are other officers supposedly within the government who are plotting to overthrow the government.
By the way, can I just say, I'm watching the video, this individual to our left of him, his right, horrible trigger discipline. The guy got his finger, he's got his finger wrapped all over that trigger.
That's not good.
This is, and I can't see the rest of them. There's too shadowy.
Police should know better than that, right?
Well, unless they're all actors, Ian. Yeah. I am very suspicious of this story.
That's a great point. So what happened? Well, for those of you just tuning in, the first part of the story was reported by thesun.co.uk, where this guy Oscar allegedly stole a helicopter, then proceeded to drop grenades on the Supreme Court building after having fired at least 15 shots, supposedly, from a gun at some interior ministry party that they were throwing for members of the media, which, of course, good way to get some media attention is shoot at the media. And he says that, quote, "We'll remain firmly on the streets with ferocity and energy. We are defending our future, rights, and liberty." He's describing the second phase of his plan. So the video you have is with the men in the background, right? Mm-hmm. The multiple masked, shadowy men.
He's got his blue armband, and he's reading off of a little notepad.
And in this video, the new one with phase 2, it's 5.5 minutes long, which appears to be, I'm looking through here, it's all him. This is just him. He's sitting up against a wall, sort of a nondescript plain gray wall with the Venezuelan country flag draped behind him, and he's got like a beanie cap on, or a skull cap. The blue armband wrapped around his right arm. He's got not fatigues, but some sort of dark olive green jacket on, and then some sort of machine gun leaned up against the wall. In the story here from PanAmPost.com, they point out that he had stolen the helicopter and disappeared in the helicopter, leading to speculation that the regime had staged the event. It appears, however, that Perez was in hiding. He explained in the video that he made an emergency landing in the state of Vargas along the country's central coastline. Afterwards, he spent several days hiding in El Avila, the highest mountain in Caracas, which is also a national park. Perez, and why he would admit to where he was hiding is a strange thing. Mm-hmm. Perez said the second phase of his plan is imminent and that the first phase has been a success. He managed to damage the Interior Defense Ministry and Supreme Court building. He says there was no collateral damage, which was part of the plan because we are not murderers like you, Nicolas Maduro, and you, Diosdado Cabello. Perez was critical of those who do not believe in his fight. He says, quote, this is another excerpt from his new video. Quote, "The selfish thing would be to abandon our families, our children, our parents, our social environment, and go save ourselves in hiding," he said. "We are very sure of what we are doing. Stop talking and come out to the streets to represent Venezuela." So, okay, Conan, I mean, you're the conspiracy guy here on the show. There are already people out in the streets protesting here. There's a large group of people who are protesting against the Maduro administration. They want change.
Oust him. They want a new election. They want the new guy.
They want an election because there were supposed to be elections, state elections last year. Maduro put those elections off indefinitely. So at this point, we don't know when there's going to be new gubernatorial elections there in Venezuela. He's saying maybe sometime this year, but who knows? Whenever the dictator wants it to happen at this point. And Maduro wants to rewrite the country's constitution.
Well, it sounds like this guy does as well.
Well, maybe so. But he wants to rewrite it in a way that, of course, would benefit Maduro. And so people are mad, and they are in the streets over this. And Maduro doesn't like it. I mean, Maduro has been giving guns to thugs. So Maduro's got his hired thugs, right? The state police and the police of the cities who will do the government's bidding generally. But he also has another group of regular criminal thugs who, in Venezuela, it's illegal to have guns as a private citizen. You can't have a gun. But if you're the government, you certainly can. But what Maduro's been doing is he's been handing out guns to private citizens who are on his side. So the people who love Maduro, or at the very least love the power that he's willing to give them, these basically criminal gangs that aren't the government, because I consider the government to be a criminal gang. So other criminal gangs are ponying up at the trough, and they're getting armed up by the president of the country so they can go out into the streets and crack the heads of the protesters and shoot and murder protesters and basically have Maduro and his administration look the other way. So Maduro doesn't really want people out in the streets because the more people get out in the streets, the closer he gets to getting overthrown. So I don't know. I mean, this guy is calling for people to get out into the streets. If he's really working for Maduro, why would he be doing that?
Well, according to this article over at independent.co.uk, the attack fed a conspiracy theory by opposition supporters that may have been a government setup and overshadowed other drama on Tuesday, including the besieging of opposition legislators by gangs in the National Assembly.
So the idea is that instead of reporting on the opposition being besieged by these thugs that I was talking about, they would report on this actor harmlessly firing from a helicopter.
According to a lot of folks on the street,
On the opposition.
this was a false flag.
Interesting.
The helicopter raid also coincided with a judicial measure weakening the powers of dissident Chief State Prosecutor Luisa Ortega, who has emerged as a major challenger to Mr. Maduro. Around the time of the attack, the pro-government Supreme Court expanded the role of the state ombudsman, a human rights guarantor who is closely allied with Maduro, by giving him powers previously held only by the state prosecutor's office. Tariq Saab can now lead criminal investigations by ordering state officials to conduct autopsies and carry out ballistic tests, powers previously reserved for state prosecutors. Opposition leaders described that as an attempt to supplant Ms. Ortega. It seems like a movie, Julia Borges, leader of the opposition-controlled legislature, said of the helicopter raid.
It does. It's so bizarre.
Some people say it was a setup, some that it is real. Yesterday was full of contradictions. 1,000 things are happening, but I summarize like this: government is decaying and rotting while a nation is fighting for dignity.
It's fascinating stuff.
So, yeah, it does coincide with a couple of incidents that were taking place, and that's the best way to hide those under the rug, if you will.
Get something sexy. Get
something crazy going.
Supermodel.
Get an actor. Get a bunch of dudes in ski masks with bad trigger discipline, all talking about the people will rise up, and it'll all be better.
He said the Venezuelan people must continue to march together in the streets and defend themselves against armed thugs. Quote, "That time is now, not tomorrow. The time to wake up is now so that we can experience a new dawn."
Now, is it proven that Maduro is actually handing out guns to gang members, or is that speculation?
I don't know what level of proof there is for that, Conan.
So, I mean, because he can come out and say he's against these gangs, and as long as no one knows that he's actually arming them, then he's good to go.
You're saying Maduro?
So both sides are against these armed gangs.
Well, no. Maduro, I don't think would publicly. Yeah,
he's not publicly going to say that he's arming them.
Yeah,
but he can publicly come out and say that he's against them.
Yes, that's probably true. So it may just be speculation that it's him that's giving them the guns. I don't know. But anyway, that's the latest on Oscar Perez. We'll let you know as we learn more about it. Whether it's true, whether this guy's working for Maduro or whether he's legit and really is this, cop who's turned toward the opposition in this case. It's fascinating.
If he is a cop turned towards the government, it just backs up my statement for earlier this evening. It's going to be the cops who start breaking down the walls first.
There's more coming up here in moments. 8:55, 450 free like freedom. You can join us here on Free Talk Live.
If you're a sleep apnea sufferer who's on the go to your phone. Because if you give us a call right now, you'll be able to try the world's first portable mini CPAP device absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP, an engineering marvel that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. Its unique design is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. No more dragging around a big, bulky CPAP. Even better, now you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights by calling minicpap.com, 1-800-768-3138. Transcend is FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. You can also add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. So now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't wait. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now, 1-800-768-3138. That's 1-800-768-3138.
Hi, this is Ron Paul, former congressman and Republican presidential candidate. I love these summer months because this is when I get to enjoy the fresh fruits and vegetables that are being harvested on small farms and in our backyards. We all look forward to garden tomatoes and corn on the cob. Don't you wish there was a better way to preserve their true tastes and flavors? I'm here to tell you that there is a better way. It's by using the amazing home freeze dryer from Harvest Right. I have a Harvest Right freeze dryer and use it to preserve the foods I love. Strawberries, apples, and even lasagna and ice cream can stay fresh for 25 years. And the best part of my freeze drying is my family and I have a supply of long-lasting food on hand. So no matter what may come, we feel better prepared. We love our freeze dryer. To learn more, go to harvestright.com or call 800-923-9591. That's harvestright.com or 800-923-9591.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free. Bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. There is a translated version of Oscar Perez's video. The former CICPC officer, state police officer or secret police, as I understand it, in Venezuela, who ostensibly has flipped sides, but many in the opposition are saying, no, he's still a puppet of the government. And so who is this guy for real? Well, a lot of people aren't very sure. There's a story over at taskandpurpose.com by Danny Leffler that's headlined, "Who the hell is Oscar Perez? Venezuela's trick-shooting, grenade-tossing would-be liberator." And he points out that on July 5th, the people of Venezuela awoke to yet another chapter in the bizarre saga of Oscar Perez, seasoned policeman, action movie hero, and depending on whom you ask, either an armed revolutionary fighting to topple the government of socialist strongman Nicolas Maduro, or a puppet for the regime disguised as an insurgent, or as Conan suggested here, maybe he's working for the CIA.
Indirectly.
Yeah. So who knows? But Perez did appear originally in late June when he launched that aerial attack that we discussed, shooting from the cockpit of a stolen police helicopter and lobbing grenades at the Interior Ministry and the Supreme Court. In the video claiming responsibility for the attack, Perez vowed to fight the, quote, impunity imposed by Venezuela's government. And as if his international debut didn't capture enough attention, he's just released a sequel doubling down on his call for a popular uprising. And we'll post the link to the English subtitled version of this video so you can take a look for yourself. Maybe being able to actually read and understand what it is he's saying will give you some kind of insight into, a little bit more about him. The video is a little lower quality than his original video, but it adds an extra layer of intrigue to a story that seems torn from the pages of a W.E.B. Griffin novel. According to the tape, Perez and his comrades are back in the capital city after ditching their stolen chopper along the coast and trekking back to the city over the mountains. Quote, defiant as ever, Perez declared that he and his squad are, quote, ready and willing to continue our struggle for the liberation of our country. In the video that I was just watching, the subtitles, he says that they are defending their rights and duties. He says further that, and they're defending their nation and their flag. And then he goes on to say that they will be appearing in the streets in the protests with the regular protesters. Quote, we will also be in the marches now, he says, and let the G2 and all of Cuban intelligence know that we will be there defending our people. And he's referencing Cuba because Cuba's kind of like on the same team as the Venezuelan government, basically. Against the armed thugs of fear, they will not win, he says, because there are 30 million Venezuelans who they will have to jail the entire country to be able to silence, according to the video, our mission, our duty, our patriotism, our struggle. And then there's more, a little bit more after that. His timing is impeccable. Venezuela is in desperate need of a savior. The country's economy is in ruins, shattered by low global oil prices and a history of mismanagement, foolhardy policies, and corruption, runaway inflation. Speaking of the inflation, we got to get an update. Every time we talk about Venezuela, Conan, we always have to get a inflation update. We've got to check in with dollartoday.com, which is the go-to website that Nicolas Maduro, the president of the country, actually blames this website for the country's monetary problems. He says that it's Dollar Today's fault is why the money that they have in the country is not worth anything.
Need to find a scapegoat. Let the people know that it's not his fault, not his government's fault.
In no way the central bank's fault. It's all this guy who is a former he was originally from Venezuela. He's now he's an employee at a Home Depot in a town in Alabama, and he runs this dollartoday.com on the side. And all they do is they just report on the economy of Venezuela. The current price for $1 US, this is what you get if you trade a US dollar on the black market in Venezuela. Now keep in mind, before I give you this number, that the official state exchange rate. So this is one of the biggest problems in Venezuela is that the state sets an official exchange rate, and that really screws up the economy. It makes it so people in business, they can't do business, they can't buy things.
Does this website also include the government of Venezuela's inflation rate side by side?
I'm sure it does somewhere, but I mean, I think they just presume that you know that the government's official rate is 10 to 1. Mm. So if you go into a bank in Venezuela and you hand them a dollar bill, they will give you 10 Bolivar Fuertes, they're called now.
Today.
And it used to be 6.3 to 1 or 6 to 1 or something like that, and then they raised it to 10 to 1 about like a year ago. So you get 10 Bolivar for $1 US. But if you go onto the black market, you will find out what that dollar is really worth. And according to dollartoday.com, you should be able to trade that dollar for around 7,672 Bolivar.
That's a little bit different.
Big difference.
That's a big difference.
Big difference. And that's that gives you some kind of insight into what's going on here. Because
and American dollars is it legal to have them in your possession in Venezuela, or are they wanting to round those up because they're causing problems?
I don't know. That's a good question. I know that you can take them into the bank, from what I understand, and exchange them. So it's probably not illegal to have them, but they don't want you to have them. I don't know. That would be interesting to have somebody in Venezuela answer that question if there's somebody who can actually make a phone call out of Venezuela or Skype call. We'd love to hear from you. Our Skype username is lrn.fm. But for people that aren't aware, the economic destruction that this has caused, because commonly the sort of socialist media they won't blame socialism for the problems in Venezuela. They'll blame the oil prices. Oh, it's the oil prices that are down around the world. And
or socialism done wrong. Like, we didn't do it right.
Well, even then, they won't even really address that. If it's the lefties writing the articles about it, they always try to find other things to blame the problems on. But it's this, exchange rate that has really screwed things up, because if you are a business owner in Venezuela and you want to import products in, because you can't make products locally because the government will just nationalize and destroy all the industries, so it's crazy to open up your own manufacturing business. So you'd have to import. Let's say you want to import a pallet full of toilet paper because there's a huge shortage on toilet paper, but the person who's selling you the toilet paper, the wholesaler, well, they don't want to take your bolivar. I mean, that's probably worth less than the toilet paper itself at that point. So they don't want the government money. They want to get paid in something that they can use. Mm-hmm. So they want the dollars. But you can't get dollars easily in Venezuela because they, are in high demand on the black market. You have no way of doing that, and you can't legally buy things on the sort of the up and up market with dollars at the black market exchange rate. So you would have to pay for those products, at the regular, official exchange rate, which is impossible. Like, they can't even – it's just not even a possibility to buy things from outside of the country. They can't do it. So you have to rely on the black marketeers, the people who are willing to smuggle things in, if you want to be able to get the things that you need for life. It's just an insane situation. There's more coming up. Free Talk Live.
Love or loathe him, Donald J. Trump is our 45th president. There is no denying now that Trump will go down in history, both despised and admired. Commemorate Trump's presidency with your very own Trump silver bust from TrumpSilverStatue.com. This museum-quality heirloom Trump silver statue bust is hand-cast from 20 troy ounces of silver, a great investment. From TrumpSilverStatue.com. Loathed or loved, own a valuable piece of Trump's legacy. Get your solid silver Trump bust today at TrumpSilverStatue.com.
If there's a toxic chemical, biological, gas, smoke emergency while traveling, at home, or on your job, are you protected? Are you prepared? There are over 400,000 fires in the USA every year. Up to 85% of all deaths in a fire are due to smoke inhalation. 3 minutes without air, and we as humans will die. Be prepared and escape safely with our Safe Escape smoke hoods, giving you up to 60 minutes of breathable air protection. Order yours online at ase-safety.com. That's ase-safety.com. And get up to 40% off, plus free shipping.
Free Talk Live.
We're talking about the immigration situation here in this country. Now, Jeff, you have a 5-point plan. I'd like for you to go over the 5 points again.
Oh, sure. Hold on. I just got to turn to the page.
That's fine. And if you, he's got pages worth of
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Number one, close the borders. Put up a barrier on the border. And I mean a barrier.
Like a Great Wall?
Yeah, a Great Wall, barrier, stone wall.
Right.
I mean, something that's secure. And then you put a moat underneath.
Holy crap. Alligators in the moat?
All right. Now, you've got more, though, right? We got a wall and a moat, and then what?
You can put sensors on there. The motion detector.
Motion tracking machine guns, too? Spit out some 50 cals at them if it moves.
Ninjas. That's what we need. We just need ninjas mounted at 10-foot intervals along this wall. The border ninjas.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, you dial toll free. Bring up what you want. 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We're talking about the mysterious Oscar Perez, the former cop who has supposedly broken bad and has turned against the government of Venezuela. But some are saying that they don't buy it. They think that maybe he's still working for the government, although I'm not exactly sure what the supposed plot is there, but they don't necessarily believe him, given that he does have experience as an actor. I don't know if he's any good as an actor, but
he sure looks hot shooting that pistols backwards with the mirror.
Man. He's a handsome Venezuelan man, and he appears to have attracted the attention of one Irene Esser, the ex-Miss Venezuela. She's a very beautiful young lady who's apparently shooting guns with him, and she's wearing a black mask and stuff in this. Anyway, back to the story here. Oh, and there was one other thing that I wanted to mention, Conan, and that was I was kind of giving a brief description of the sort of the economic situation there with this government-enforced exchange rate. And I forgot to mention that if you want to buy stuff, if you're a business person, I said that if you wanted to get stuff from outside of the country, which is pretty much the only way to get things in Venezuela right now because the government just destroys the economy and nationalizes any successful business that they then run it into the ground and start running it in the red. The other thing was you can't change the money back. So, yeah, you can go into a bank in Venezuela and you can exchange a U.S. dollar and get 10 bolivar. Mm-hmm. And again, remember, you can go and get 7,600 bolivar for that same U.S. dollar if you know the right people in the black market. But either way, anybody in the black market is going to give you way more, closer to 7,000 bolivar than 10. But if you take 10 bolivar into the bank, they're not going to give you a U.S. dollar, right? So it's only a one-way exchange. So there's no real way for these business owners to do any significant level of being able to buy stuff. So as a result, there's no toilet paper, there's no chicken.
Well, they've got bolivar.
Well, that's
for their toilet paper.
Yeah, that's about all you can do, and that's a nasty, nasty way to, you never know where that money's been. So let's go to somebody who doesn't know much about money at all. It's Sarah in Albuquerque. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes, I wanted to bring up this dilemma about programming kangaroo movements into the automated cars in Australia. So it's a dilemma.
So the idea is that the automated cars would know where the kangaroos are so they wouldn't hit them?
Right, that's correct. It's like they have to recognize a kangaroo coming before they get to it, right? So then they have to recognize their motions.
Yeah.
But then they hop and jump and skip and so erratically. So it's very hard to program them. And I struggle, actually.
You mean program the car. You don't mean program the kangaroo.
Well, is it easier to program a moose behavior like in Newmaster? They're doing that in Sweden. They got moose problem that way. So I don't know which is more. I'm sure kangaroo is harder to program. So
wait. Well, did you hear about this one on NPR too? Where'd you hear this one?
You know what? I think that was on that communist socialist radio station. Yes.
NPR, you mean? NPR.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming if they could, I'm assuming they can automate the cars to drive around kids and other cars and trees and make corners. I'm pretty sure it could figure out a jumping kangaroo.
Kangaroos are big. I mean, when they get full grown, those things are big. Have you ever seen those kangaroo fight videos, Conan?
Their feet are bigger than your head, and they will take you out.
Have you ever seen them fighting?
Yeah, they're dangerous.
They are amazing to watch fight, and it is so hilarious.
You know what they should do? Huh. They should just go tag all the kangaroos.
Tag them with what?
Little chips, so that the cars can know where they're at, everywhere that they're at.
That sounds like a really big task.
I'm just being silly.
Okay.
That's like going out and neutering all the deer in New York.
Yeah.
To keep the
Did they
deer.
Try that?
They're doing it to keep the deer population down.
Wow. So Sarah, yeah, I mean, I trust that I trust in the geeks. I believe that the geeks will be able to figure this one out, and they'll have some sort of kangaroo detection algorithm that can, determine whether the thing is a baby or a kangaroo or an alligator.
Yeah,
or
this is not the problem. The problem is trying to determine the side of a truck that is the same color as the sky.
Ooh.
And driving into it because it couldn't determine,
Well, radar would be able to determine that, right? Like something that bounces back is obviously not the sky.
That might be the next step they have to go. But this has already been a casualty where a car drove into the side of a semi body.
Somebody died?
I believe the person died. Yeah.
Jeez.
You know what? I'll look that one up. But so maybe radar or maybe all vehicles are chipped.
Well, one thing's for sure, it's going to get better.
That's going to happen. All cars are going to, it's just like our phones, all the phones are going to be able to talk to each other and be able to identify that there's a phone right next to it and the other car next to you.
That's the plan, right, for these cars is that they'll know where each other are, and so therefore they'll be able to drive closer together to one another because they will be able to work together and know when one or the other is braking and all that via communication technology. And the thing is, I don't think this is really, I mean, to me, Sarah, it doesn't seem like a big concern. There's probably not a bunch of kangaroos jumping around in, downtown Brisbane or whatever. It would be more of a concern likely on the open highway, but even then, again, there's technology that allows these cars to detect anything that's in the road. Why a kangaroo would be that much more difficult, I don't see it. But then again, I'm not working on the tech.
Funny that it is a dilemma right now because they cannot really have an actual a sequence where they could recognize it. You know what I mean? Because it's every kangaroo is jumping around different ways and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny. So it's hard for them to recognize what that creature is. But I just brought it up because the NPR they always talk about these automated cars, and also the Volvo is going to be all electric. So they always talk about all of these electric cars, and electric bullet trains, and also all these advances on auto brakes and.
I think it's cool. I'm glad that it's happening. I just, for me, it doesn't really do anything. And I don't know about you, Conan. I'm curious to hear how you feel about this. You're a truck driving man. Hey, thanks for the call, Sarah. I appreciate it. Are you wanting one of these auto cars?
I don't know.
You don't know.
More and more of my life is becoming automated.
Yeah.
So I don't know why this would be a problem.
I kind of like driving.
I don't think we're going to lose the ability to drive off a hand.
Well, I mean, in the later generations, they're going to remove steering wheels, man.
In the later generations, the people won't know how to drive. They won't want to have the option.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And you know what? It might be safer. And I did find the incident that I was referring to. 2015. A crash occurred on a Florida highway when an 18-wheel tractor trailer made a left turn in front of a 2015 Tesla Model S that was in autopilot mode, and the car failed to apply the brakes.
Uh-oh.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administrator,
wasn't paying attention, huh?
which is investigating, said in a preliminary report, neither autopilot nor the driver noticed the white side of the tractor trailer against a brightly lit sky, so the brake was not applied.
Wow.
Of course, that's their statement, and I don't know if this was ever... This might still be in the works, trying to figure out what exactly happened.
How long ago was the story?
Well, the car was a 2015.
So pretty recent then. Okay. Wow.
This article is July 2016.
I don't know, man. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool technology, and I think you're right. Where did I hear that? I think somebody else said that people who are being like babies who are being born today will probably never know how to drive.
I think
because it's going to be here by 16 years from now, it's going to be here. Like this automated car thing is going to be well past its infancy, and it will be tech that is well refined and tweaked and ubiquitous.
And we're going to be driving right next, or not driving, but auto driving right next to Amazon drone pilots just whizzing by, and before you know it, 1 in 10 of us will have a car with wings where we can just take off.
Now that's exciting. I like that idea. Get me off the road.
We'll have little mini airports all over Keene where you can just go to take off because there's not enough runway on the...
Well, they got the vertical thrust, right? So
not at first.
The good ones.
Maybe in 15 years.
You won't need a runway. 855-450 free like freedom. 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves. This is Free Talk Live.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash at dash.org and help build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-765-9681 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-765-9681. Again, that's 800-765-9681.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free, you take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. We've been talking about everything from Lego stores kicking kids out, allegedly calling the police on them for not being accompanied by a parent. One lady got arrested for that, or ticketed for it. She's got to go to court. Been charged with endangering her own child, apparently. Then Oscar Perez, the cop who is apparently, or he wants you to believe, turned against the Maduro administration there in Venezuela, as points out here over at Task and Purpose, which is a website I've never been on before, but they've got a piece here about Oscar Perez asking, who is this guy? They say his timing is impeccable. Venezuela is in desperate need of a savior. The country's economy is in ruins, shattered by low global oil prices and a history of mismanagement, foolhardy policies and corruption, not to mention socialism. Runaway inflation and food and medicine shortages have added to the turbulence, piling tinder on an already smoldering situation. There appears to be little hope for an orderly political transition. Months of food riots and street protests have pushed Venezuela to the brink of an armed uprising as Maduro and his cronies have worked to tighten their slipping grip on power. Nearly 100 protesters are believed to have died in clashes with the police over the past few months. That's not entirely true. Many of those protesters have died at the hands of the non-police thugs, the ones that Maduro is supposedly arming and just allowing to get away with murder in the streets. They're basically defending Maduro with violence, and they're able to get away with it. By the way, if you like what we're doing on Free Talk Live, talking about the ideas of liberty and freedom 7 nights a week here, live on the radio on over 170 radio stations from coast to coast, then please get behind our show for $5 a month. If you can afford it, you can donate with PayPal, credit card, or Bitcoin over at amp.freetalklive.com. It's amp.freetalklive.com. Just get there, get signed up. You can use, as I said, different payment options, and Free Talk Live benefits because we can invest that money into the show so we can get on new radio stations and expose new people to the ideas of freedom. Because freedom is the answer for the people in Venezuela. That is the answer. Now, whether that's what they're going to get seems unlikely, because in all of these political struggles, Conan, it's like one thug just looking to replace another thug.
Well, the first thing that we need to do as the U.S. is to stop paying the opposition. This is exactly what's going on in Syria, because we're giving Maduro.
You mean the government is?
We're giving their government an argument against us that, hey, look, the reason it didn't work is because you got the U.S. government funding the opposition. It's their fault, and Syria can say the exact same thing.
But they're going to blame the U.S. anyway. I mean, Maduro is he's been blaming the United States, just like Kim Jong-un blames the United States.
All he has to say is the U.S. wants our oil. The U.S. wants to introduce a Federal Reserve note here in a federally backed currency here in our country, and we don't want any part of it. We want to be sovereign. Yeah. We want to be socialists. So you know what? Hey, let them be socialists.
But even if they're not, that's what I'm saying is, even if the U.S. government isn't intervening, then they're still going to blame the United States. He needs a bad guy. He needs somebody to point to outside of
as far as I'm
Venezuela.
concerned, all of these dictators have an argument. Kim Jong-un has an argument. We are funding South Korea.
Well, I'm not, but the
U.S. government is. I mean, there is an argument.
No doubt. No, I agree with you. And North Korea's propaganda is usually, I mean, they lie about a lot of things, and as far as their own government is concerned, but when they talk about the U.S. government being imperialist, they're right about that. Mm-hmm. So there's no doubt about it. I mean, I agree with you. The U.S. government needs to remove their troops from around the world.
Their 900 bases.
And remove their meddling CIA from around the world as well. So again, people out in the streets, 100 protesters are believed to have died in the past few months, and once peaceful demonstrations have escalated into full-on street battles, as I mentioned, they set the Supreme Court building on fire recently there in Caracas, which is amazing. Enter Perez, who served as a captain in the CICPC, Venezuela's Forensics Bureau, while moonlighting as one of the country's most dashing actors. It says here that among other general badassery, the movie that he was in, Suspended Death, features Perez jumping out of a plane with a large dog strapped to his chest and taking on bazooka-wielding kidnappers. I might have to check this out tonight, Conan. Suspended Death, also known as Muerte Suspendido. He's pretty much a South American MacGruber. I don't know who that is. Who's MacGruber?
An 80s...
Yeah, it looks like some sort of movie from the past. Anyway, MacGruber from IMDb. No, not 80s. This is 2010. This was a movie with...
He was making fun of the MacGyvers. It was MacGruber? Yeah, he's making fun of MacGyver and a bunch of other Hawaii Five-0.
Okay.
Who's...
Perez has invested considerable energy in making himself into a real-life Ethan Hunt, filling his popular Instagram account with photos of him doing things like scuba diving with assault rifles and a backward trick shooting video using tiny mirrors. He also used it to showcase his ability to do actually useful things like flying helicopters and eating large platters of delicious-looking sushi. The account is a testament to a man's ability to sculpt a digital personality for himself, one fit to fill any major motion picture screen. But who Perez actually is remains shrouded in mystery. In many ways, he cuts an almost too perfect figure for an insurgent leader. Striking, square-jawed, and bold, the longtime forensic policeman seems like the quintessential underdog hero to star in an ongoing political drama inside of Venezuela. However, Perez's theatrical past and the amateur execution of the 28th copter attack have sparked June 28th has sparked condemnation from a number of anti-Maduro figures, many of whom view him as a helpful distraction from the government at best, or the star of a high-profile false flag operation at worst. Miguel Torres, who previously led the country's National Intelligence Review, called the incident a cheap show that would only benefit the president. And Perez certainly would be a convenient scapegoat for Maduro's shaky government, and the president pounced on the opportunity to capitalize on the events of June 28th, labeling it a terrorist attack that could, quote, this from Maduro, could have caused a tragedy with several dozen dead or injured.
Notice he dropped 4 grenades on 80 people of the press.
No. He shot at the press, dropped grenades on the Supreme Court building.
Yeah, but no one was hurt.
No one was hurt. And that's the funny thing here.
Or injured.
Right, and that's what points out here. So Maduro's making it sound like there could have been this great tragedy, but no one was killed or wounded during the incident. While rumors of Perez's true motives swirl, Venezuela's catastrophe continues to play out in real time with no possible end in sight. On July 5th, pro-government demonstrators rushed the country's National Assembly, beating and robbing a number of opposition lawmakers and causing general mayhem inside the Congress of what was once the richest country in Latin America, the latest act in the ongoing drama. Barring any major plot twists, the chaos will likely continue unabated. With Perez on the run and the country in danger of entering a state of full-on pandemonium, a few questions remain. Where will Venezuela's self-proclaimed savior surface next, and what sort of finale does he have in mind? Let's talk to Patrick, who is a cop in Bullhead City, Arizona. Patrick, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Conan.
Hey, guys, you brought up a good topic. They had a history channel. They were talking about the trade routes on that particular coastlines down towards South America through the Caribbean. And Venezuela was always a hot topic in the early 20s and, back when they were bringing in a lot of supplies back and forth through that area. So I have a feeling that if the United States does intervene, it'll be probably to get a hold of their ports, even though their ports are in ruin. It wouldn't take them that long to say one of their private so-called companies to go down there and take over, because Venezuela is not just oil. There's a lot of rich minerals.
Sure. There's all kinds of business that could be run in Venezuela if only the state would allow them to run business there, but they love to nationalize industry. And of course, so therefore, anybody that you're insane to make a business investment in Venezuela, because you could invest in a factory and then have the state just take it all from you, and you get nothing out of it. We're short on time, Patrick, but I'm curious: is there anything that would make you turn against the government that you work for?
Yeah, there would be. If they made me go against my own family, and make it to where I have to raise arms.
What about confiscating guns? What about confiscating guns? Would you follow those orders to confiscate people's guns?
That's a tough one. Probably yes.
Oof.
But they'd have to do it. I mean, there's a certain.
Let's talk about it another night, Patrick. We are out of time for tonight, but we can let you think about it a little bit more, because it is a tough question for a lot of cops to answer, especially those who own guns and have respect for gun ownership. We'll see you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
The Torchwood Report is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, July 7th, 2017. Silver is trading at $15.92 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,223 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,545. Antiwar.com reports Secretary of State Rex Tillerson revealed that discussions with Russia are likely during the G20 summit, with a focus on issues related to the Syrian war, including humanitarian aid and the possibility of mutually imposing a no-fly zone in parts of the country. Tillerson suggested that such a deal could greatly improve military-to-military communications between the U.S. and Russia, which have been strained during the war as the two sides often find themselves with conflicting goals. Tillerson's comments on enforcing no-fly zones may suggest that there is no expectation that U.S. and Russian planes would actually abide by the no-fly zones imposed, but that this would rather be limitations imposed on other nations involved in the fighting. This is a potential complication for such a deal either way, as the U.S. would doubtless expect a no-fly zone to primarily limit the Syrian government's strikes against rebel forces, while Russia would likely not want to limit their allies so much as limit the chances of the U.S. coalition getting into air battles with the Syrian government's air force. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Illinois legislature on Thursday voted to override the governor and usher in a new tax hike and balance the budget, something the state hasn't been able to do in more than 2 years. A bipartisan Illinois House voted 72-41 to supersede Governor Bruce Rauner, fearing they would only lead to more tax increases in the near future. Thursday's vote marked the first time since 2015 that the state passed a measure to balance the budget. House Speaker Michael Madigan said Republicans and Democrats stood together to enact a bipartisan balanced budget and end a destructive 736-day impasse. The people in this chamber did not do what was easy, but we did what was right for the future of our state. Rauner countered, today was another step in Illinois' never-ending tragic trail of tax hikes. Madigan's 32% permanent income tax increase will force another tax hike in the near future. His tax and spend plan is not balanced, does not cut enough spending or pay down enough debt, and does not help grow jobs or restore confidence in government. A number of Republicans and Democrats both voted in favor of and against the veto override. Representative Steve Anderson said, I believe it's a historic day because it's a day where we decide the fate of our state. Do we want to save it or do we want to let it go into a meltdown? Representative David McSweeney said, what we do know for sure is that the budget is going to hurt people. We've all heard from our constituents. They're wondering how they're going to pay their high property taxes. They're wondering how they're going to pay their living expenses because we're raising their income tax rate by 32%. And what do we get? Nothing. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports private employers in the United States hired fewer workers than expected in June, and applications for unemployment benefits last week increased for a third straight week, pointing to some loss of momentum in job growth as the labor market nears full employment. Those signs were also evident in another report on Thursday showing growth in service industry employment slowing in June, even as the sector continued to expand at a healthy clip. The moderation in job gains likely reflects difficulties by employers finding suitable workers amid an unemployment rate that is at a 16-year low. The ADP National Employment Report showed private sector payrolls increased by 158,000 jobs last month, stepping down from the 230,000 positions created in May and below the expectations of 185,000 new jobs. In a separate report, the Labor Department said initial claims for state unemployment benefits increased 4,000 to a seasonally adjusted 248,000 for the week ending July 1st. It was the third straight weekly increase in unemployment claims. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Sony released this week the Nasal HD 340s, a brand new pair of high-quality nose buds designed to let users blast different scents into their nostrils throughout the day. The Onion let consumers across the nation sound off about their excitement for the new product.
I've always got them in my nose. At work, at the gym, on the bus, wherever. These days, I can't stop smelling tennis ball.
Retailing for $49.99, the nose buds accompany the launch of Sony's new online odor store, which sells over 22,000 different smells for download and immediate inhalation. Still, not everyone is quite as enthusiastic about the new product.
These things suck. I mean, a lot of times it only works out of the right nostril. The other day I tried smelling picnic table. It smelled more like hardwood floor. And also, to be honest, I have a really hard time breathing with these things on.
This is the Onion News Network.
And
and welcome everybody to the Torchwood Report. Today is July 7th, 2017. I am Matthew Taylor along with Bill Godin and Jeff, the one true Niz Nijo. We've got ourselves one heck of a program for you tonight, but before we jump into that, I'm going to kick it over to Niz. So, Niz.
This broadcast is covered by the BIPCOT no government license. That means that you are free to use or rebroadcast portions or segments of the show so long as you are not an agent or advocate for government. If you fail to heed this warning, you will be socially shamed. And for more information, please go to bipcot.org. That's BIPCOT.org.
Yeah. So, guys, anything, how's your week been? I haven't talked to either of you one basically all week. How have you been?
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah, anything good? Just been a nice, relaxing week?
Yeah, nice, relaxing week.
Niz, any new pets?
No, not this weekend. As a matter of fact, we got rid of 2 rabbits.
Got rid of?
They are gone away. No, not like that. Not like Jimmy Hoffa.
Wait,
there's no.
Weren't the
anything.
rabbits the last pets that you collected?
Acquired.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, they're actually called lion's head rabbits, and we found them out in our yard.
He de-acquired them.
Yeah.
Right, we acquired them. I'm
them
assuming
free.
that some neighbors of ours had realized that the female was pregnant, and they let her loose. Not. I mean, seeing them, obviously, you know that they're not wild rabbits. And when you're talking about like a bright white rabbit and an out-of-place, totally black-colored rabbit, and the fact that they're domesticated, generally they don't last too long out in the wild. You know, they either die from hunger or starvation, or they get picked off pretty quick by owls and hawks. So we caught them. And then she had 7
if
babies.
humans are able to catch them, predators are definitely doing that.
Well, it wasn't easy to get them. That wasn't an easy task.
Come here, rabbit.
Yeah, but something tells me that, like a fox or a hawk is quite a bit faster.
Oh, absolutely. So anyway, 2 of them went to a good home, and now we have 3 baby bunnies left. So if you know anybody that wants a baby bunny,
I'll
check around. Put them in a box and ship them to Eastern Pennsylvania.
UPS them up
we've
here.
got.
I guess that works.
We've got 2 females,
courier service,
and 1 male that are left.
DHL.
Yeah,
Right.
delivered with a
slingshot
singing
them.
telegram.
A slingshot. There you are.
Right.
Maybe you can have Amazon drone it to us.
That would be the
That's not
bomb.
bad. That's a good idea.
Shoot it out of their cannon.
Rabbit drones.
Um,
No, nothing really, man. Other than that, just basking in the glory of the great meme war of 2017.
I know.
Glorious.
The internet has been alive with memes, and I love it. The last time we had a really decent meme off online, I'd say had to come down to Petty Biden. Petty Biden, I think, was the last really good meme campaign for the internet. But
yeah,
Trump and CNN.
Oh, it's killing it.
Oh,
it's killing it.
It's finger licking good, man. It is good. I think I saw you post one the other day that took a scene from Starship Troopers, and it's when
with the
it's when NPH is petting the hive queen. It's like he's scared. Yeah. Oh God, I lost it. I absolutely lost it. And it's so true though. CNN is shaking in their boots right now.
They doubled down. They doubled down.
Of course they did,
They
but
doubled down.
well, I mean, that's the only thing they could do. That's the only thing they could do. Seriously.
All of this, Matt. Let's roll this train back because all of this started. Now we didn't have a show last week. We ran a rerun because we had some technical difficulties.
We were drone
over at the
strike.
studio there up there in the Northeast.
Yeah.
So we weren't able to be on. So we've missed some things. So we have to rewind.
Let's do that.
Because all of this started with Trump's mean tweets.
Oh no, you're
about
hurt
Joe
my
and
feeling.
Mika. Right. So,
unfortunately, not the Jimmy Kimmel style. Those are actually kind of funny and don't cause dumpster fires in the country.
Dude, this is the dumbest. I'm just gonna say this right off the bat. This was the dumbest thing that I've seen in the media in a long time. People were making such a big deal about these stupid tweets. It was absolutely ridiculous. So here's what the actual tweet that went out from DJ Trump on Twitter, right? I heard poorly rated at Morning Joe speaks badly of me. Don't watch anymore. Then how come low IQ Crazy Mika, along with Psycho Joe, came to Mar-a-Lago 3 nights in a row around New Year's Eve and insisted on joining me? She was bleeding badly from a facelift. I said no. Media on fire. Hateful, misogynistic, racist Trump picking on news media. Crazy. So from that, MSNBC comes out and responds and says, it's a sad day for America when the president spends his time bullying, lying, and spewing petty personal attacks instead of doing his job. Well, isn't that exactly what the media is doing?
Yeah.
Aren't they
exactly what they're
doing the exact same thing?
Day in and day out. Day in and day out. That's what they do. And they're given these small little slivers of information and told to talk about them for 4 hours. So, of course, that's what they do. They go up and they just spew nonsense. And it's just one-sided, biased hate towards something. Have you ever... When was the last time...
It happens to be Trump right now.
When was the last time you turned into something like Fox News or CNN or any of these and you sat there for 30 minutes and saw something that made you happy?
Well, I mean,
happiness doesn't. That's not
ever.
That's not friendly towards happiness. Is not
It
friendly
doesn't
towards
do rating. No, you just got to scare the crap out of people and make them hate something. And
I don't think it works. Like this isn't. It's not. That's not the effect that I'm getting here. I see it and I start laughing. It's entertainment to me.
Well, I mean, and the thing is with any other candidate in any other political realm, this would work. But Trump's sitting back there is just like, I was born of this.
Yeah. I mean, I would concur with that. I mean, this is what happens when you get I mean, he was pretty much an internet shit poster.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And he became president.
And now he's in the Oval Office.
And now they're trying to out shit post him day in and day out, and he's like, dude, I didn't lose my Twitter account. Like, I still got more followers than you do viewers. So chill.
Well, even the press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Sanders, she came out and said that this is a president that fights fire with fire.
A little bit.
Right. I would absolutely. I can't. There's no argument to be made.
Trump
there.
is honestly the only president who I could honestly picture trying to fight a literal fire with fire.
Right.
I just see him there with a